Are you a dungeon master? Do you want to be a dungeon master? Do you have blue face paint on your face? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, then you're just like me. Not only do you enjoy smashing players in the face with your axe every time they metagame, but you're also a busy person, and while prepping for a D&D game, well, sometimes that's hard. And as much as you'd like to force one of your players to run D&D for a change, well, they all suck, so it's pretty much up to you to be the forever dungeon master. And that's exactly why I get out my crayons every month and write a new issue of Lair magazine. Well, I mean, it's not just me, I have a team of people too. We all get out our crayons and write it, but yeah. Anyway, every issue of Lair magazine contains 5th edition Dungeon Master resources to help you reduce your prep time while still running amazing games for your lazy, good-for-nothing players. Every issue of Lair magazine contains 2 to 3 adventures complete with maps for online play. You know, we also sprinkle in other stuff like puzzles and traps, which, let's be honest, both suck to have to make yourself. So, I mean, wouldn't you rather just become a DM Lair patron and pay me to write them for you? I mean, you know, my team and I, with our crayons? Now, if you love your wonderful players as much as I do, consider helping me to meet my sales quota by becoming a DM Lair patron today at the link below. You'll get a new issue of Lair magazine every month and other cool stuff like map packs and bonus adventures. Okay, that's it. Please become a DM Lair patron now or I will find you.
All right, hello ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to the live stream. We're gonna be answering your questions today. Just throw me some questions in the chat. I will be answering them after the stream. For those of you who are watching this after the live stream, we'll put timestamps down in the comments so you can find the questions that maybe interest you the most and go right to them. So yeah, that's today. All right, we got to get through a few sleazy plugs and all that kind of stuff, and then we're gonna jump into this. The first thing that I want to call everyone's attention to is, woo, where's my fancy stuff? All right, we are raising money for One More Child. They do a whole bunch of really cool stuff for folks, for children, for single parent families, lots of amazing things. The thing I want to highlight though is these guys do lots of anti-trafficking work. So sex trafficking, that sort of thing. So that is actually how I found out about them. I was watching a newscast where it was talking about what they did to help with some trafficking victims in Florida. And now we're trying to raise some money for them. We are about halfway to our goal. We are literally halfway to our goal. We're trying to raise $500 for One More Child. And the little bar, there's a little bar at the bottom of the screen that shows how far we are. And we're almost there. So once we get to $500, we will send them a big, huge donation. There's a bunch of stats on here for trafficking too that's really crazy. All right, really nasty stuff going on. So I want to give these guys some money so they can help stop this crap and help victims when they are found and rescued and all that kind of good stuff. So if you'd like to donate, Squeaky supports this cause. He has come to show his support to this, as he does in every stream and everything that we do. Thank you, Squeaky. So we are doing that. We also have a giveaway going on. There is a link in the description where you can get your giveaway. Well, I mean, it's like you have to sign up for it, you know, and then we choose the winner at the end of the stream. So you're not guaranteed to win, but it is free to enter and you might win it. So that's cool, I guess. My dog is now bothering me because she's excited that we're on stream as well. You can't see her. She's pawing at me now. Yes, I know, you're amazing. Stop. She's going crazy. Okay, so we got... This is Luke. Guess what? My IKEA delivery just arrived. They couldn't have done this like 5 minutes before I started the stream. So IKEA delivery is here. I'm gonna have to leave and then come right back. What a really good timing. All right, just, you know, I'll put the cat room thing on. Maybe my cats will do something interesting and you can watch them. I don't know, but I have to go. I'm sorry.
side was kind of heavy. Anybody got stuff from IKEA? Is that from IKEA?
Oh, that's more.
Switch to the all set. And then
Bully.
yeah, that's good. Okay. Alright, thank you.
Okay. I gotta change this. My dog is going nuts. There we go. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hey, I'm back. Okay, so IKEA has delivered my boxes over there. It's spectacular. I get to put my furniture together. I was looking for cabinets that I can put my miniatures in, because right now all of my minis, I love painting minis. I have tons of minis. I get minis from Reaper Bones all the time, and I paint them, right? And right now all my minis are in like these little plastic containers that are like for tools and stuff, and every time I run a game I have to go open up these containers and look and hunt for minis, and then it takes some time. So what I want is a cabinet with glass doors that I can see my minis and then pick out the ones I need for a game. Or even better yet, since I'm going to be running my games with minis here in my house, I can have my cabinets are going to be right over here, and then as I'm running the game, if I happen to need a particular mini for something, I can literally walk over to my cabinet, grab the minis I need, and then take them, if I didn't like plan it out in advance. So anyway, I finally have my cabinets with glass doors where I can put my minis. And one of there are lots of cabinets you can get with glass doors, but one of the things that I really needed was I don't want the shelves to be like 12 inches apart, because miniatures aren't that tall. It's a waste of space. I need shelves that are like that far apart or so. Maybe like that. Maybe like 8 inches or so is probably not too bad for minis, because you got to be able to reach in and grab them. You got to be able to see them and reach in and grab them. But 12 is like a lot of space. And so this cabinet I found from IKEA not only does it have glass doors, but it also has adjustable shelves, and you can buy extra shelves. And so I can put the shelves just the right amount apart that I need them to be to like stock it full of my minis and stuff. So anyway, those are those boxes sitting over there right now. I got to put it together. So anyway, there you go. There's your story for you. Christmas arrived early. Well, I mean, it'll be nice to have those cabinets set up, but I'm not looking forward to assembling the furniture. I was really looking for a place that would because a lot of our furniture we just get from stores, and it's not, you don't assemble it. The stores literally deliver a piece of furniture to you, and they put it where you want it, and you're good to go. But I couldn't find anything like that. What was really stymieing me was the adjustable shelves, being able to adjust the shelves and stuff. So anyway, I found what I need, it looks like, and I just got to put it together. And it looked like it was pretty decent looking, at least in the pictures, so it shouldn't look like a piece of junk. At least that's my hope. Anyway, there you go. Need to add lighting to them? Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be putting lighting in it. I know that would be all like cool and stuff, but that's probably not a requirement to house my minis. I can get, yeah, that'd be kind of a pain in the butt. Yeah, but anyway. All right. What am I doing? Okay, we were in the middle of kicking off our live stream, and I was doing the sleazy plugs, and I got interrupted. So I think I was just talking about the giveaway. Okay, so cool. Go join the giveaway. Great. Woo! Link down below. And then I was gonna do the sleazy plugs for well, it's not. It's a name drop of all of our awesome patrons. Let me find my screens here. Okay, cool. There we go. All these folks you see on screen right now are our amazing patrons. All of these amazing, wonderful people help support all of the work that we do around here. For instance, right now you are watching a live stream where I'm going to answer your questions and try to help you as much as I can. They help foot the bill for that. All of my free videos, they help pay for that. My team members, I have full-time team members that work for me. We have a massive team of cartographers and freelancers as well that work for us and help us to do all of the products and cool stuff that we make too. The free stuff that is on the dmlair.com, we pay folks to write that for us and to edit it and to proof it and make sure that it isn't total garbage. So there's a lot of costs and expenses that go into everything that we do around here. Much of it is for free for you folks, and our amazing patrons help support all of that. So I'm deeply, deeply, deeply appreciative of them. They also get Lair magazine, which is our premium monthly publication for Game Masters. Tons and tons of 5th edition content in it. And by the way, we are working on getting Pathfinder 2nd edition content in Lair magazine as well as we speak. So that is going to be coming out soonish. It's going to be a few months. It's a process. It is a process to make that happen, and we're working through that. But that is our goal. Very, very soon, you know, hopefully we're going to have Pathfinder 2nd edition content in Lair magazine as well, and that is going to be glorious, and I'm looking forward to that because I am running Pathfinder 2nd edition stuff myself, and so I want to build and publish products for it because that's cool. All right. These folks in red right here are super extra amazing because they support us at an even higher amount, and I'm deeply, deeply appreciative as well. So we're gonna read their names out loud, and I'm gonna mess up half of them, and it's gonna be hilarious, and then I'm gonna lose half of these people's patrons because I screwed their names up. But I can't do anything about that. I'm just not good at pronouncing names, so let's go. 5e Magic Shop, Adam B, Alex S, Alexis S, Amanda W, Ambers, Angelique K, Art Soccer, Arutha, Ashley, Benjamin P, Brendan A, Carl C, Cheduff, Chad K, Christian V, Christian B, Christine B, maybe? Christopher G, Clay W, Coinslot, Colin W, Connor D, Contrary Gravy, Dan S, Daniel S, Daz Was Up, David S, Derek E, Doug, Duty K, Dungeon of Terra, Dutch, Edward R, Edward L, Ed R, Mfrabo, Endorian72, Eric B, Flux Forest Brew, Francisco D, Gamion, Gene A, Goliath Cleric, Gravy Chorn, Greg P, Gregory H, Guapo, Harlan S, Helltongue, HLD, Iron Cascade, It's Beobond, Izzy T, Jackie Pizza, Jake L, Jacob K, Jelenko, James L, J on F, Jessica J, Jim P, Joanne P, Joe E, Joanne E, Sem, John, John A, John C, John H, John P, John R, John the Wicked, John V, Joseph H, Josh M, Josh S, Joseph W, Justin N, K, Kirby Claw, Curry Claw, Kirby, Letter Mage, Lionheart, Linda, Matlock, Magna, Molten M, Matthew J, Matthew A, Matthew C, Mipano something, Mirostal, Mitchell, Mo20s, Mr. Owl, Mr. Lincolnu, Nerd with Glasses, Nessie, Old Man Mage, Paul S, Penguin Butt, Pethnick, Pork Chop Bacon, Psycho Jam, Puppet Master, Ramus, Randy B, Rebar, Renner C, Robert J, Robin B, Russell L, Ryan, Sale R, Sakura, Sam B, Sean S, Shadow, Shane L, Sheila A, Simfan, Sir Evangelist, Son of a Sofa Man, Soul Farnock, Soul Nanya, Stephen, I don't know how to, that might be actually a Stefan because it has an F there. Stefan G. Steven, I believe, even though a PH is an F, I get confused. The English. Another Stefan, Steven T, maybe. And here's a Steve. I know that's pronounced Steve. Steve L. Thank you, Steve. Sturm. Tactical Tokens, Tara and Terry S, Terry V, the Three Quarters Hospital, the old DM, the New Bad Ombre, Thiago P, Thomas F, Tom Tim, Tim B, Timothy T, TK, Tom T, Travels the Lost, Trinity Series, Tyler R, Unalloyed, Undying Warlock, Valagor, Vladimir S, Walt O, Wesley K, William C, XX Redrum, Yoel R, Zachary J, Zero Mon, Zombie Trom Me. Woo! All right. I made it. I only mispronounced a few of them. I feel like I did pretty well today. Okay, yay. All right, let's start doing actual streaming stuff. Before we jump into the questions, and I do see some questions coming in, but please throw your questions in the chat so we can get the sheet populated. I noticed there was a piece of news that one of my teammates shared with me because it's literally his job every day before the stream to send me a report of items so that I'm not clueless about what's happening in our world, the gaming world. So let's go over here. There's an article on Wargamer. Apparently, Dimension 20 has recruited Critical Role's Matt Mercer as the game master of Dimension 20. So this is breaking news 8 days ago, but we're up to speed reporting on things around here. So anyway, that'll be interesting. It doesn't really tell you anything. It doesn't say any, there are no details. That's it. That's all you need to know. There's an article and there's like talkie and there's words. There's words here, but it doesn't say anything else. So I just gave you the summary. You're welcome. The biggest question that I have, that like I read this and I'm just like, okay, cool. All right, sweet. But what happened to Brennan Lee Mulligan? That's like my question. Where's Brennan Lee Mulligan? It doesn't say anything. It doesn't say that he's going to move on to something else. It doesn't say that, you know, he's going to be doing another game somewhere. Nothing. It's just total silence. Does anybody know what is going on with Brennan Lee Mulligan? That's what I want to know. Like, Matt Mercer, cool. He's doing another game. Sweet. I'm sure this is who actually. So Dimension 20 is a brand or a company. I forget who runs them, but they used to have. There used to be a company that actually ran Dimension 20. Does anybody know who it is? Because they're not just like, you know, a small team. There's like a big company brand behind doing them. Does anybody know? Anybody know? College Humor. Thank you. That sounds about right. Okay, cool. College Humor. Sweet. So College Humor for it. I mean, this. Who knows? You know, it would be great to know, like, if they would share some information, because you don't know if Brennan Lee Mulligan was like let go and they were like, dude, you're out, and then they got Matt Mercer in. You don't know if Brennan just wanted to do something else and he's like, you know, I've been doing this for a while and I kind of just want to move on to something else, which is fair because people have different desires in their lives and things change, and that's fine. But you don't know if it was like he decided to do it, if he got booted. I don't know why they would boot him though, because he was an amazing game master. Like, I don't watch a lot of these things. I don't have time, but I talk to people who do. And one of my best buddies, Dungeon Coach, Alan from Dungeon Coach, he loves Brennan Lee Mulligan. He actually thinks that Brennan Lee Mulligan is a better game master than Matt Mercer. I can't comment on that because I don't know. I don't really watch them. I don't have an informed opinion. I literally just hear crap. So he really likes Brennan Lee Mulligan. So he's got to be good. You know, it's not like he sucks. And he, you know, so then you got to ask the question, well, you know, did College Humor, did they just need more exposure? Like, was Dimension 20 not getting enough exposure and press and, like, you know, talkie stuff, like people talking about it and spreading word, and that they thought that if they got Matt Mercer to do it, they would get more publicity and stuff, and they would like get a lot of like the people who are fans of Critical Role to come watch Matt Mercer? Are they just trying to expand their customer base or something? You know, these are the questions you ask, right? And we have no answers. I don't have any answers. So Tashio says, oh, he is a far better game master than Matt. Okay, interesting. I think it's just for one campaign. They have guest DMs occasionally. Yeah, but the whole campaign. But a campaign lasts a while, right? Nylan says Brennan is better. He's extraordinary. There's a couple people saying that they like Brennan better. Glad Cleric says Brennan is extremely involved with a ton of different projects. He probably doesn't have time to run a major live play game like Dimension 20. Well, I will throw that right back at you, dude, because I have a feeling that Matt Mercer is involved in a whole lot of projects too, and he probably doesn't have time to do another actual play like D&D show or something, you know. So anyway, Dimension 20 are short campaigns usually. Oh, they are. Dimension 20 runs short campaigns. Oh, okay. They're like 20 episodes. 20 episodes. Are they weekly? I mean, that's like, okay, that's still a year-long campaign. If you run every other week, it's a year-long campaign. Oh, you know what they do? I bet you they do? So if I were running one of these shows, if it's live, you can't do this. Are his shows live, or are they pre-recorded and then released on their channel? Does anybody know if they're live? Yeah, somebody here knows. If they're not live, then they record a bunch of them at a time. This is what you do. It's not live? Okay, cool. Then you record a whole bunch of them at a time. You do not record a game session a week. You're putting on a show. This is a show, folks, right? You have people that are acting and putting on a show. That's the entire intent of it. You know, I'm not saying it's scripted, but it's definitely a show. So the way you do this is you set aside an entire day, and you get as many of these things in that day as possible. Like, people have to have enough energy to keep on going, but when a lot of these actors and stuff, they do crazy long days, you know? Like, I read a little bit about The Rock and some of the stuff that he does, and this dude gets up at like crazy early, 4 a.m., gets his workout in, and then he's working like on set or something, like for 12 hours or something crazy stupid. You know, actors and these folks usually put in really long hours when they're on a set recording. So I bet you they do something crazy, like they get an entire season, or, you know, cracked out in a week. They just set aside the entire week, and that's what we're doing. Let's go, and they get everything done. I don't know. That would be my guess. You have to batch that stuff. When you get to the level that these folks are at, you have to batch your work. If you don't have time to do anything. You have to batch stuff and just crack out a lot of the same thing at a time. Get into the groove, get your makeup on, get the lighting and stuff, and then you go, and until you're exhausted, and then it's done. So anyway, that's what they're probably doing. They're not going to record it every week or every couple of weeks. They're going to try to do as much as they can. So anyway, that's interesting though. So I hope Brennan Lee is still going to be doing it, because lots of people love what he's doing. But anyway, I'm sure that there was probably to try to get some audience over the people that really like Matt Mercer to come over and you know, so it's a business move, you know, and stuff. It's what businesses do. So he said in an interview that they're starting at 8 a.m. and ended after 8 at night. Yeah, that's what you do. I wake up. You know, and I actually have stopped using an alarm this entire week, but I'll wake up around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I work nonstop until probably 11 o'clock at night. I just work the whole day. Now I go to the gym. There's a break for going to the gym, but I work the entire day. It's just what you do. Like when you have a whole bunch of crap you're doing, you do not get the luxury of like chilling. Maybe on weekends and stuff if you're lucky, but you have to work your face off, you know. Like I think that's something that people who look at folks like Matt Mercer and Critical Role and all these people, and you look at the amazing amount of success that they've had, you know, like you can say that they are extremely talented at what they do, and I believe they are, but you cannot discount the amount of work they put in, the sheer hours they put in to their business, to their craft, to doing those things. Like you cannot discount that. Yes, they're talented. You might somebody out there who thinks that all these people are just lucky and they didn't earn what they got. There's people out there that believe that kind of crap. You know, even if you say that, oh, they just got lucky, you know, dude, you cannot discount the fact that one, they're talented at what they do, and two, they put in lots of hours, lots and lots of hours. There are lots of people that are super smart and super talented, and they sit on their butts and they don't do crap. And guess what? Nothing happens. They don't get anywhere. It's not, because you have to put in the time, you have to put in the effort, you have to put in the work, or you're not going to achieve the sorts of things that these folks achieve. You're not. You won't. There are lots of talented, very talented, amazing, intelligent people who sit in their basements and do jack diddly squat, and they don't get a whole lot out of, you know, they don't see results because you have to put in the work. So anyway, these folks work a whole lot too. I don't know why I'm on that tangent, but it just felt like I needed to say that. Okay, anyway, that was a piece of news I saw that I thought was interesting. Okay, cool. Let's move on. Let's do some questions now. Ooh-wee. All right, this was a super chat that I had from last week that I somehow missed, and I apologize for that. I try to give priority to all the super chats, obviously, because you paid me to answer your question, and so I feel morally obligated to answer your question. I don't know, that's crazy, but I missed it somehow. The question is, how do you transition from free playtests and paid sessions? So this is coming from a professional game master who charges people to play in their game, and they're doing free playtests from the D&D Beyond stuff, I suppose, but they're also charging their players. Okay, I've read this question like 5 to 10 times before the stream started, and I still can't understand what they're really asking. So I'm gonna do my best here. How do you transition from free playtests and paid sessions to asking players to pay for all playable content? Current setup has a lot of playtesting. I still don't know what I'm answering. I don't know what I'm answering. I've read the question. I don't understand the question. It's really hard. I don't know. Maybe if somebody in chat has a better like reading comprehension score than I do, you can help this person, but I just don't know what they're asking. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry. But I at least read your question. And then made a strong plug for folks who ask questions to please be clear, because I can't understand some of this stuff. Maybe I just have like a relaxed brain or something and it doesn't get through. Okay, well, it looks like there was context added afterwards. It says the questioner's husband is a pro DM, but the question was answered as being about D&D Beyond. It still doesn't make sense to me. Even with context, it makes no sense to me. All right. Next question. I'm trying to get better about making my world more of a living thing. The world moves on around the player's actions. Any tips for that? Yes, I'm gonna show you my system. Let me get my window opened up here. I'm gonna show you my system for what I do for exactly that thing. Now I'm gonna share this for my Ancient Dragon campaign. And I gotta get my screen set up. I'm sorry, I wasn't planning on sharing this. I want to make sure there's nothing in here that I shouldn't be doing or shouldn't be showing you. Okay, all right, here we go. Whee! And then I gotta get biggie. Gotta get bigger, so you can read it. So basically, what I do is, in all of my games, I keep track of, and if you're an Ancient Dragon player, please don't listen to this. This is gonna ruin your game experience. I keep track of something I call future plot points. Basically, what I do is over the course of a game session, over the course of a campaign, when things happen in the world, when players make decisions, when they do things, when stuff happens, my brain is always looking for, okay, they did X, what might happen in the future? What might be the consequences of this? What might this lead to? My brain is always trying to find, like, what are the consequences? What does this lead to? Where might this go? What might happen next? I'm always trying to think about that. And it doesn't have to do with the current campaign. It doesn't have to do with the current adventures. It's literally thinking about other stuff that's unrelated to what's happening, maybe, or tangentially related that might happen. And so I keep these notes here. For instance, my players recently, they're in Domain of Dread right now, and they were gonna kill this big bad boss, okay? Now the big bad boss, his name is Hating. Hating had a bunch of vampires working for him, and they went to the palace of the vampires, and they didn't want to fight all of the vampires. So their big brain idea was not fight the vampires. Let's just convince them to step aside and not fight us. That was their big brain idea. And so they went in, and they were surrounded by vampires, by the way. Surrounded by, like, I don't know, a dozen plus vampires. There were a lot of them. they walked into the midst of them. And honestly, if they had fought them all, that might have been the end of that party. But they didn't. They talked and they conversed. And what they told them was they convinced Lady Brienne Zara to stand aside and allow the party to confront hating. And they did it. We did a skill challenge. They miraculously survived their skill challenge and got past it. And they convinced her to step aside and basically not join the fight so that the party could go fight hating, kill him because he's the big bad boss, without Lady Zara and the vampires interfering. That was what they convinced her to do. And she was willing to do that because she wanted to become the next ruler of that region. And she told them this. She said when they were conversing and negotiating, she was very clear about, yes, I will stand aside so you can kill my master, and then I will no longer be under his dominion, and then I can rule this region, and I can inflict evil upon the villagers. She was very clear about that. And my players were all just like, okay, yep, okay, sounds good, let's make a deal. And so now my players are they've talked about this. They're probably gonna loot back, assuming they survive the battle with hating, because I believe we're mid-battle right now, and it's a rough battle. Things are not going well for them. Assuming they survive, their plan is to loop back to take out these vampires. That's their plan. But they might not do that. You never know. So what I did is I have planned out a plot point that if they do not take care of her, she's going to do evil stuff. For instance, one of the things that she's going to do is there is a band of lizard folk. There's a tribe of lizard folk that my players have made allies with. They assisted them with the problem they had, and now these lizard folk who live in a very nice place that has a bunch of food. This whole domain of dread is lacking food and sustenance, but these lizard folk happen to live in a place that has food and sustenance. And so my players made a pact, a treaty with these lizard folk and helped them out with the problem they had. So the lizard folk are now going to open up trade relations with different villages in the domain of dread so that the people won't starve. So my players have made this treaty, and one of my plans is these vampires, if my players don't deal with the vampires, my vampires are gonna go down, attack these lizard folk who are very near to where the vampires live. They're going to basically wipe out the lizard folk. They're going to take some of them, turn them into vampires, make them thralls and stuff, and they're going to wipe out that tribe. And so this is just one example of a future plot point that I make. An action my players took. They made a deal with the vampires instead of wiping them out, which is fair. I'm not going to force them to kill them, right? I'm just going to think in my brain, okay, if they don't kill them, what would the vampires do? Okay, and then I follow that course of action. And I came up with wipe out the lizard folk. Excellent. And that right there is going to stab a knife right in my character's heart of like, oh man, great. We didn't want to fight the vampires, and now the vampires went and wiped out the lizard folk who are our friends. And then, so you see what I'm saying? So this is the type of thing that I think about, and this makes it a living, breathing world because my players made an action, they made a choice, and the world, what happens in the world plays off from that. There's a natural course of events where the players can say, yes, that happened because of something that we did in the past. And that is an example, that is a small example. Here's another example. This is another one that I'm really excited about. This might happen eventually, but it's gonna take a while. So there was basically, the group was in the Evermoors, and there was a hag, basically, an old woman who allied with purple worms, big, huge, massive purple worms. And they helped, but the hag and her worms were being held in check by a dragon, a black dragon, I believe. And the hag asked my players to help her defeat the dragon. And so my players went and defeated the dragon. And then they left, and they're like, okay, good, woo, we're great. The hag now, so you had two evil forces, the dragon and the hag and her worms, that were basically holding each other in check. Now my players took out the dragon is gone, there is nothing holding the power of the hag and her purple worms in check. And so now she is beginning to spread her dominion and make it larger. She has already destroyed Silvery Moon, which is a very major, important hub city that is near the Evermoors, and she has totally destroyed that. I'm setting up some visions. One of my characters, Kasim, my players runs a character called Kasim, and Kasim is beginning. One of the things that happened, I think I have it written down here, is Kasim did something. I thought I had written down here. Kasim, oh yes, here it is. Kasim's tied to the Queen of Worms. So because Kasim drank the platter of blood and spit from the Queen of Worms, she can see through his eyes whenever she wants. And occasionally Kasim will have glimpses through her eyes and what she's seeing. And so this is another example. He did something that was not advised, and there are consequences. And so now Kasim is having visions of the Queen of Worms. He had one vision where the Queen of Worms destroyed Silvery Moon. And then he had another vision where he had one vision where the Queen of Worms and her horde of purple worms was approaching Silvery Moon. And then he had a second vision later of the Silvery Moon being destroyed and the Queen of Worms being in there and recognizing that Kasim was seeing her and cackled and laughed and did some, that type of thing. And so basically I'm setting this whole thing up through visions through Kasim. And he knows this, two of my players are my original players still from that game. That's the D&D 5th edition game that I run for my patron. It's called the Ancient Dragon campaign. And two of them are my original players from I think we started about 3 years ago or so. Two of them are my original players still. And so they know all of the stuff. It's where this is all coming from, But anyway, the point is, this is another example of making this living, breathing world. They make actions, they do things, and then the things in the world happen because of that, Now, it so happens that your primary job as a game master is to make problems in the world, is to create problems. That is your job. If you are not creating problems in the world that the heroes need to solve, then there's no game. So that's what you do. You create problems, you create issues, you create things that happen. So in your brain, what you do is you think your players did a thing. Great. Now, what consequences can I make happen because of that thing that causes a problem in the future that they have to maybe go solve? They don't have to. I don't force them to do these things. My players may never go deal with the Queen of Worms. That's life. They have the freedom and the choice to choose to do the things they want. I'm setting this up. I'm hoping that I make them feel guilty enough that they're going to go try to solve that problem. They have other problems too. They have lots of problems walking through this world that they caused, that they're responsible for bad decisions, due to bad decisions that they made, But I set these things up. I put these things in motion, and they know that it's all a result of what they've done, and then they have to choose what they want to do. But it makes it feel like this world is living and alive. It's not static, and things that they have done affect the world, and that makes them feel really cool. And it's wow, this is sweet. We did these things and now this stuff is happening. Now, it's not always bad, right? Sometimes there's good that happens from what they do. But like I said, your job as a game master is to create problems, because then if there are no problems, then there's no adventure to be had. And if there's no adventure to be had, there's no game to play, unless you're going to all roleplay being blacksmiths and shopkeepers, in which case I would argue that D&D and Pathfinder are probably not the games for you, right? You probably want to find a different game system if you really just want to roleplay, being in a tavern for 4 hours or something, because there's probably better games that are more fun than these games. But anyway, the systems, I guess. So anyway, that is the answer to your question for how you make a living, breathing world. I'm gonna catch my breath while I show you a sleazy plug.
Hi, Barbarian here. Did you see my last sleazy plug? The one where I talked about Lair magazine and tried to convince you to become a DM Lair patron? Yeah, well, I'm not gonna do all that work over again. So could you just go rewatch that plug and then, become a DM Lair patron at the link below? Please, don't make me threaten you with my axe. My doctor tells me I gotta, keep my blood pressure under control. Thank you.
Okay, we also, I forget which issue it was, but we also published an issue of Lair magazine not too long ago that had an entire article in there about doing this sort of thing, helping to make your world a living, breathing world. You guys know, Goliath Claire, do you know what issue of Lair magazine that was that we had that article in? I know we had an article. It was somewhat recent, I think. Maybe it was March, I don't know, but This is one of the things we put in Lair magazine, are things like this to help game masters as well, to do certain things like this in their game. So anyway, I don't know what issue of Lair magazine that was in, but maybe Goliath Cleric will tell us. Or Penguin Butt's here. Hey Penguin might know. Oh yes, Ancient Dragon players, you can start listening again. I've finished destroying your game experience if you were listening. I forgot too. We are, check this out. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on a second. I have to show you guys something. I gotta get it on my screen though. Like this is gonna take me a couple seconds. Oh, because when I didn't plan to show you something on the screen, it takes me forever to find it. It's magic. Don't go over here. All right, and then I need to see this special thing. Come on, man. Let's hurry it up here. Let's hurry it up. Whee! Okay, cool. All right. The grand reveal. All right. We have another Kickstarter coming up. This thing's going to be launching later this year. It's planned for August right now. It is The Secret Art of Game Mastery. We have basically taken, and there should be a link in the chat where you can click on this and follow it so that you get notified when it goes live. This is our next Kickstarter. We have basically taken like over 100 years of Game Master experience from the people that work on my team, from me, from Ed, from Zach. I think we have a cartographer who helped contribute some content, and then we might have had somebody else too. I can't remember. But we've basically taken a lot of us that have been running games for a while that have lots of expertise, and we're putting this information into a book that you can read about game mastering. A lot of these secrets, techniques, and stuff like that are sometimes difficult to get. You don't get these things when you read like the Dungeon Master Guide. It's not in there, you know. You don't get this stuff. A lot of these Game Master books, you don't get it in there, and so we're putting this information in there in an easy to read format. Now, here's the thing too. It is system agnostic. It doesn't matter what game system you are running, whether it's D&D or Pathfinder or Call of Cthulhu. The information in here is designed to help you. It helps you at the high level stuff of being a game master, because system-specific books often give you system-specific advice for being a game master for their system, but there are lots of other high-level stuff that they don't address, right? And that's what we're putting into this book. So it's system agnostic. It's genre agnostic too. So if you're running fantasy, this will work. If you're running steampunk, great. Horror, great. If you're running sci-fi, spectacular. This stuff is going to be useful for almost anybody that is a game master. So there's a link in the chat down there. You should be able to click that, and then you can it was okay. All right, I see that. And then you can follow it and get notified when it launches. So anyway, that's our next Kickstarter. I'm very excited for that. Now, here's the cool thing. Here's the other cool thing too about this. We have already written the book. Like Zach, I don't know exactly where we're standing. We had to go back and do some updates, but Zach is working through that right now. But the book is literally going to be written like before the Kickstarter launches. The layout is going to be done before we have the covers. The covers are already made. The covers are made. Everything, all this is done. So literally the Kickstarter launches, we fund it, we close it, and then we make the books, and then we ship you the books. So we're going to have crazy quick turnaround. This is the model that we're moving toward too, by the way, because lots of people do these Kickstarters and they're super excited for the books, and then they have to wait like a year or something crazy. But yeah, a year to get their books. Right? And so what we've started doing is we take the capital that was raised in the previous Kickstarter and we aim that at the next Kickstarter so that we can get it made beforehand so that you guys get your stuff faster, right? And then so this Kickstarter, we'll take the capital from it that we raise, money, capital means money. We take the money we raise from it and we start getting the next Kickstarter ready so that you guys can get your books a whole lot faster and everybody should be happier faster. So that's what we're doing anyway. So it'll be very cool. Okay, so that was the big this project just got approved like this week, and so I'm excited for that. All right, let's go back to just the Q&A stuff. Oh man, I'm getting hungry too. It's hungry time. Hungry time. I'm gonna close that right there. All right, all right. Now I got some super chats coming in. Uh-oh. Probably look at these super chats before I miss them. Oh, they're not even the spreadsheet yet. Oh, here we go. Hector, dude, $50 super chat. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Your name was up on the screen for like a brief moment before somebody else super chatted $50 and then kicked you off. But yeah, basically we have this thing here where, you know, if you super chat or donate, you can give donations to One More Child that we're raising money for as well. Your name gets on the screen. But anyway, your name's up. Well, your name was up there, Hector. Thank you, sir. And your question. Do you ever listen to music and hear a song that sticks out so much that you decide to make an NPC for that song? I have never done that. That's never happened to me. It sounds really cool, but I've never done that. If you do, or even if not, good, thank you, because yeah. Could you make one for this song? Jagger Elite from Epic Music World. I have no idea what that is. I want to use your idea in a new campaign. Okay, so we're gonna brainstorm some ideas here, guys. Who has heard this song? Jagger Elite from Epic Music World. Does anybody know that song? Can anybody tell us what this song is about? If we could start just giving me information about that song, we can probably whip up an NPC in a couple seconds. Anybody know that song? I don't know that song, and I can't listen to it right now, and I certainly cannot play it on stream because I'll get, the whole stream will be demonetized and those folks will get my money. Anybody know that song? Anybody know that song? While you guys are talking in chat, I'm gonna move on to the next super chat and then we'll come back to that. Jason, Jason Coleman, thank you for the $50 super chat, and you're right there. Whee! Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Happy Thursday, Luke. Thank you, Jason. No questions. Ooh, sweet. Because I got stumped on the last question. Sorry, haven't had a chance to join the live stream since the move to during the weekday, but had a couple of minutes before my next meeting. Thank the team and you for all the great content. Keep it up. You are very welcome, dude. Have fun at your meeting. I feel for you. I appreciate your donation, dude. We're gonna keep up the great work. Absolutely, 100% guarantee you. You were talking about your meeting. Have fun at your meeting. I cannot tell you how much I hated meetings when I had a full-time job. Meetings were like the bane of my existence because most of them were such a waste of time. You know, stupid corporate meetings, man. I hope your meeting is not that. You know, now that I, you know, run my own business and crap, we have team meetings too. And holy crap, like my goal going into these meetings is to actually make them somewhat valuable so we can talk about real important issues and settle and discuss things that need to be figured out. I cannot stomach pointless, worthless meetings. There is value in talking face to face with people in real time and not just chatting over messages. There's a lot of value in that, but it's got to be productive. What is it? What is the name of that guy? There is a Drucker. What's his first name? There's a prolific business guy called Drucker. What is his first name? What is his first name? Somebody out there knows Drucker and has read Drucker. He wrote The Effective Executive and then some other books. What is his first name? All right, I'm gonna have to Google it here. This is probably faster. The Effective Executive. Peter Drucker. Okay, cool. So The Effective Executive was written by Peter Drucker. And one of the things that he said in that book, he said a lot of amazing stuff in that book, by the way. But one of the things that he said in that book is you're either working or you're in a meeting. You're either in a meeting or you're working. Like he totally differentiated between getting work done and being in meetings, you know? And so like, I think of when I worked at my corporate job, I think about the people that were there that were always in meetings, usually middle management. And I was like, wow, so what did, you know? Anyway, let's not go down that path right there. That might get some folks upset. Okay, let's do super chats. Do we have any ideas what that song is? So Poop stick. I don't know how to. Oh, ye old poop stick. Okay, ye old poop stick. Thank you, ye old poop stick. Cool name, by the way. I think he's talking about the song. Could make it a fallen angel vampire that has necrotic wings, along with armor and weapons of significant magical value. Yeah, that sounds cool. Perhaps with the ability to transform into a more natural beast-like state too. Yeah. So, a former angel that has fallen and been corrupted, and his crown, the crown, like, let's pretend the angel had like a crown, a golden crown above his head. Now it is twisted thorns with like blood dripping from it and stuff. And this fallen angel, his feathery wings now have barbs all throughout them. Think of like barbed wire. There's barbed wire all throughout his feathery wings. And he has barbed wire covering bits of his torso. He has barbed wire wrapped around his fingers, his knuckles and stuff. And then he has like elbow counters and like knee pieces of armor and stuff. And there are spikes sticking out of it. And barbed wire wraps around the bits of armor that he wears and holds it on his flesh. This barbed wire that holds the armor onto his flesh digs into his flesh constantly, causing blood to continuously stream and trickle down. And he has like some barbed wire wrapped across his face, pushing in, blood trickles down. So barbed wire all over this dude. And he has a sword that has, or a staff, or a maul. He has a maul, big, huge maul with barbed wire on it as well. And so blood streaming down, barbed wire, feathers, and when he flies, his feathers are blackened, by the way. And when he flies, the feathers will molt and fall away as he flies. The feathers are always replicating and duplicating. There's always more feathers, but when he flies and flaps his wings, the feathers are falling down. If he gets into combat, he's obviously swiping with his maul, but he has a legendary action where he can flap his wings, and then everybody in a 10-foot radius gets swiped by the wings. The barbed wire in the wings like scratch people's faces and stuff, cause damage, and they can also blind you as well as that legendary action until the start of his next turn and stuff. So there's a concept, and you probably want to put some sort of like idea around why he fell, right? Why he fell into evil or something like that. I don't have one off the top of my head, but I just gave you at least a visual description of this NPC and stuff that should help you out a little bit. Joe Striker says most meetings in the engineering world could be emails, but sometimes they are good or worth it. Yeah, sometimes they are. But yeah, a lot of things can be emails. Greg Pete says meetings about meetings coming up. I've done that before. We literally used to have meetings to prepare for a meeting. Like, geez, man, the meeting to prepare for a meeting, the ultimate waste of time. Usually it's because you're gonna have a meeting with somebody important, and you want to make sure you're prepared for your meeting, and you want to discuss with everybody else what you're gonna say and what you're gonna do, and make a presentation and stupid stuff, PowerPoint slides. Yeah. I'm really hungry. I need to go bio. I'll be right back. Here, watch the Barbarian.
Hi, Barbarian here. Are you enjoying this content? Would you like to have me guilt trip you really quick? Because here's the thing. My team and I work really hard to create all this content. The videos, the stupid shorts, the TikTok garbage, these Q&A live streams, the adventure creation live streams, all of this stuff. All the free Dungeon Master resources on the DMLair.com and Lair magazine, which is just amazing and beautiful. Anyway, here's the problem. My team doesn't work for free, and Mrs. Barbarian always wants me to take her out to eat, like every single day almost. And I mean, I like Olive Garden and Texas Roadhouse, but all of those margaritas get really expensive. And if I don't pay the people on my team, they just kind of stop working. I don't get it. Anyway, here's how you can help me help you. Basically, you can just take a whole bunch of cash, put it into an envelope and mail it. No, wait, hold on. Let me think about that. No, you know what? This is the 21st century. Just give me your credit card number. Okay, forget all of that. My lawyers have advised me to instead request that you become DM Lair patrons at the link below. I mean, it still allows you to send me money, but it's legal and you get cool stuff in return. For instance, every month you'll get a new issue of Lair magazine, which contains tons of Dungeon Master resources like adventures, puzzles, traps, monsters, magic items, and more. You see, I'm not just asking for a handout, which is what a lot of people do with their Patreons. I'm actually going to give you stuff in return. So yeah, just, kind of click that link below and become a DM Lair patron, so I can stop putting my foot in my mouth. Thank you.
Oh. Gotta put my tea bag in. Hold on. Gotta get that bad boy in there. All right. Mo, thank you for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that. Any updates or nuggets of information you can share on LairCon 2023? Yes. So right now, Nixla, thank you for the $5 super chat. That super chat is, you missed Mo's super chat. So thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. Yeah, so LairCon 2023, the plan is to have it in October. That's what we're still aiming for. Penguin Butt in the chat right now is working on getting us a hotel lined up. She's doing some research on hotels and she's reaching out to them, and it sounds like they're not getting back to her with quotes and stuff, but this is the plan right now. This is our current plan for LairCon 2023. First, it's going to be in Texas. Is it the Dallas Fort Worth area? I think that's right. I think it's Dallas Fort Worth area is where we're looking for hotels right now. We are specifically looking for a 4-star hotel. We're gonna get a very nice hotel, so the people that come to it can be hopefully assured that the hotel doesn't suck, because we had one year where the hotel that we hosted it at sucked. But what we're looking to do this year is we want to have it it's in the Dallas area. Cool. We want to have it in a 4-star hotel, and we're obviously get a room block for that hotel, but we also want to have a convention area conference room basically in that same hotel. Our idea is that, obviously there are some people that might come that might not stay at that hotel. That's fine. They can stay where they want. It doesn't matter. But I plan to be staying at the same hotel where also the convention is taking place. That just makes it easier for me. And I've got to drive. Our last LairCon, I had to drive like a half an hour to get from my hotel to the convention scene, and that did not work for me. So we want to have everything right there. So you're in a 4-star hotel, you just got out your door, go down the elevator, and then you're at the convention. That's the idea. We want to make it very, very nice. Now, here's the other thing. We're only going to have about 20 tickets. There's only going to be 20 tickets. We are taking the size of this and we are shrinking it down. We're shrinking it down to something very small and very premium and very awesome. That is the goal. Our first LairCon that we did was small. There were about 50 people there, and it was amazing. And we almost broke even. Our second LairCon, we were like, let's make it bigger. And so we got a bigger venue, paid a lot more money for it. And then we didn't really fill it up a whole lot. I mean, there were people there, but we didn't fill up the space, and we lost our butts. I went way in the red on it. And so I was driving back from LairCon the last year with my wife, and I was talking to her, and I was like, you know what? I think we're gonna have to stop. I don't think I can do LairCon anymore. I think we're gonna have to stop. And I was telling her, I'm like, look it, I'm paying my team members to organize this event. My entire team spends tons of time organizing this event. That's an opportunity cost. They could be working on something else, right? So we spend tons of time putting this together, and then we have the event, and like, I don't do LairCon to make money. You don't make money at conventions. You don't. I've talked to convention organizers. I talked to one who does Grand Con, and he was like, Luke, there's no, he has a full-time job, and he's like, Luke, you when you run a convention, you hope to break even. That's what you're doing. You really just want to break even. And so I don't run LairCon to make money. I run LairCon because, one, I want to hang out with my team members. I want to see them in person. I think that's really cool. And I want to see you guys in person, whoever happens to come to it. So those are my real motivations for it. And so I'm talking to my wife, and I'm like, look, my goal, my goals with LairCon are I want to see my team members, and I want to see other people that come as well, you know. And right now, the problem is that as we make LairCon, as we're trying to make LairCon bigger, it takes my team more time to organize it because it's bigger, and if we don't sell enough tickets, et cetera, we lose way more money. And so it's an opportunity cost for my team spending their time, and then we're losing tons of money on it, which you could say that you subsidize that with other areas of the business and stuff like that. That's fine. But if you're looking at losing opportunity cost and time plus a bunch of money, you have to start wondering, and this is what I was telling my wife, why am I doing this? Why are we running LairCon? And I'm like, the real reasons I want to run LairCon are to see my team members and to see some other cool people. That's what I want to do, right? And my wife was like, well, you don't have to do LairCon to do that. You know, you can just go to another convention or something. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. You could, you know. And so we were talking about it, and it was totally on the table to just not do LairCon at all and just stop doing it, you know. But it's something that I thought was really cool and that I liked, and my team was excited about it as well. It's like, you know, it's your own thing. You're doing your own thing. It's just more special when you're doing it yourself, you know. So I didn't want to get rid of it. That's really warm. That almost came right back out. All right, we're gonna let that sit there for a second. So I didn't want to let go of it because I think it's really cool and I enjoy doing it and it's fun. It's awesome, you know. But there were lots of problems, and I was thinking and brainstorming and turning it over, and I'm like, I think the solution is to make this smaller. I think the solution is to make LairCon smaller and turn it into a more premium event. So, like I said, there's only gonna be 20 tickets. Those tickets are not gonna be cheap, but the experience that every one of those ticket holders is gonna receive is going to be premium. Imagine being at a very small, tiny convention. You barely call it a convention. It's almost like a small little meetup where I'm there, my team members there, and there's only 20 ticket holders, right? We're all gonna be there rubbing elbows together, hanging out, having fun. And think about this too, if you've ever been to ordinary conventions, there's a lot of times where you don't get into a good game. You might sign up for games and then you don't know what you're gonna get. Like, the game master might not be that good and you might have a disappointing game experience. Or you might sit around, like, if you just show up at the convention and don't sign up for games in advance, you might not get into a game because there might not be any availabilities. And so then you're just kind of bored half the time. So what our goal is to make sure that people who come to this convention have a premium convention experience. You're not bored, you're not in crappy games. This is why the people running the games at LairCon are gonna be my team members and a certain select other people that we know can run good games. So you're not gonna come to LairCon and get into a crappy game. You're not gonna sit there and be bored. There's gonna be plenty of stuff for you to do. It's gonna be very small. Like I said, I'll be there, my team will be there, we're all gonna be hanging out together. So the idea is, make it smaller, make it a more premium experience so that everybody who does come is gonna have an amazing time. Now, yeah, 20 tickets, they're not gonna be cheap, not gonna lie, but if you come, it's gonna be amazing. We're gonna have tons of fun. That is what we're going for LairCon 2023. And that is my big brain idea, I suppose. And we'll see how it goes, I suppose. Well, now we're gonna see if this is gonna burn my face off again. I'm so hungry. Yeah, we do not have a solid date yet. We're looking at the first or second weekend in October. Yeah, it's early October is what it's going to be going for. All right. Oh, this is an interesting question. This is a very nice question. Dragon Mark says, did you get the invite to the Creator Summit and will you go? Are you talking about Wizards of the Coast's Creator Summit? No, I didn't get an invite. Are you surprised? Are you shocked that I didn't get an invite? I mean, you know, it's not like I've been creating videos and resources for the last 5 years to help game masters. It's not like there are literally tons of people that write me and are like, Luke, I would have given up and quit if I hadn't have had your help and stuff. You know, So when you consider what I've done to help game masters who have then gone on to buy Wizards of the Coast products and stuff, you know, like one of the single biggest problems in the RPG is players not being able to find game masters. And I help game masters run games so that players can find games. So I'm doing something really valuable in my opinion, right? And that's what I strive to do. But, you know, don't send me an invitation. Why? Why not? Well, because I was a little bit critical of your OGL thing. Huh. Imagine that. I was critical of you don't like what I had to say about your sleazy, heartless business move. Well, guess what? I'm a person who is honest and speaks my mind, and I don't mince words when corporations and people do sleazy, horrible things and drive knives into the backs of people that have helped you for the last 20 years, 23 years, build up your business, and you backstab and betray us. Yeah, I'm not gonna let that pass. I'm not gonna be quiet. I'm not gonna not make videos about it. I'm not gonna keep my mouth shut because I don't wanna make them angry at me. I'm gonna speak my mind, and I'm gonna call bullcrap when I see bullcrap. And if you don't like that, and if that means that you don't wanna invite me to your creator summit, okay, that's fair. That's fair. You know, obviously I'm not gonna get invited to that thing. They don't like folks who actually talk truth about sleazy horse crap moves that they make, you know? So yeah, they did not invite me. I don't blame them, you know? They probably don't like me. At least management there, you know, because I'm not critical about the people the people on the front. Well, I'm a little critical about some of the things they do because they need to get their game balance under control. Oh my gosh, can you get your game balance under control and make the challenge rating system actually work? Look at Paizo, look at Pathfinder 2nd edition. They figured it out. Could you please just take a chapter out of their book and make your game balanced from levels 1 to 20? All right. So yes, I am critical of some of the design elements and stuff on there. But one of my main criticisms is of their senior leadership and the decisions they made with the OGL and stuff recently. You know, and I'm also critical, I suppose, of the declining product quality. You know, the books that we're getting. Look at the Dragonlance, right? You got 3 books under 150 pages, but you had to pay $80 for it. That wasn't Dragonlance. That was Spelljammer. You know, and so yes, I'm critical of things because I'm not gonna just keep my mouth shut and be like, oh, they're amazing, when there are things that need to be brought up and things that deserve to be brought to the light so that they can say, hey, you know, we're not making quality products. We need to get better at this. We make tons of money, and yet our products are not as good as smaller companies. You know, that is a problem, right? And it needs to be talked about. But a lot of times they don't like that. They don't like people that are going to share truth with them and point out their fallacies and flaws and stuff, you know. But there is tons of value in people that will tell you your problems and tell you the things that you are doing wrong because it helps you to improve. So if nobody tells them what they're doing wrong, you know, then they have no opportunity for improvement. So I don't know. There's a whole thing. Bad Joke Gaming says it all started going downhill with Strixhaven. Yeah, they actually, Strixhaven was turning into a flop. They literally emailed me and wanted me to do a promotion for Strixhaven on my channel. I turned them down. I said no. And I've never heard from them again. But that was interesting because if they were reaching out to me, you know, I think they were pretty desperate with Strixhaven. And they ended up getting a paid promotion on another channel too. They did a video about Strixhaven, a big long video about Strixhaven, about it not being as bad as everybody thinks. It was definitely a paid promotion, although they didn't reveal that it was a paid promotion because you're supposed to in YouTube click that it's a paid promotion. But this video didn't say it was paid promotion, but I know it was because that video came out about a month after Wizards asked me to do a paid promotion on Strixhaven. So I know it was a paid promotion. Anyway. All right. So yeah, no, they have not asked me to go to the Creator Summit. Would I go? I don't know. The thing is here's the thing. When you do what I do, you do some things because it's good for your business and it's good for your brand and it helps with networking and stuff, you know? And so there's always a possibility that, you know, if they were to invite me that I would go, right? because it's the smart, logical, business savvy thing to do, you know. So who knows? I can't tell you, but they didn't invite me. If they send me a personal invitation, there's a chance I'd take them up on it, you know. And I'm not gonna be a jerk to people's faces. You know what I mean? I'm gonna speak truth, but I'm not gonna like be a turd to them, like in person and stuff. But I don't think they're gonna invite me. All right, man, I'm so hungry. Oh, we are doing a giveaway. I always forget to mention. Squeaky, you want to come up here? Squeaky, what are you doing down there? Oh my gosh, my cat. We are doing a giveaway. There should be a link in the chat where you can enter the giveaway. We're going to be giving away a hard copy of Into the Fae, which was our first Kickstarter. It is a level 1 to 5 adventure module set in. It has lots of Fae creatures and cool stuff in it. So if you want to get that, there's a link in the chat where you can sign up for the giveaway. You can also get DM Lair store credit and buy a bunch of our crap on our store too. Oh, we got some more super chats. Let's hit these. Sinful, thank you for the $2 super chat. How do you feel about artificial intelligence as a tool for DMing? I don't know. I've never used it for DMing. I use ChatGPT to help me with my videos on YouTube. I outsource research. It helps me brainstorm ideas for titles and crap. It still requires a human brain because it's still pretty stupid, you know. But it can help you with some brainstorming and research stuff. So I use it in that regard, but I've never used it for DMing. I don't know. You know, if it's kind of like I'll get people asking questions sometimes in streams where they need help brainstorming ideas. And that's the type of thing that AI and ChatGPT will help you do. They'll help you brainstorm ideas. So like if you need to know, I need an idea for an NPC, you know, and you give it some certain criteria, it might help you flesh out something. I don't know, it might. I've never tried it in that expanse. If it helps you brainstorm stuff, it's like, okay, cool, you're using a tool that's available. Sweet. Right? But I don't think that you really can't check your brain out at the door. You really need to have your own brain looking at this stuff and then, you know, analyzing it and tweaking it and stuff. But it can probably help you to brainstorm and research some stuff. You know what I mean? But it does not replace a human brain. I've used it extensively and it does not replace a human brain. Trust me. Geez, Squeaky, what's going on, buddy? I got Squeaky bothering me here. My dog is right below me, bothering me too. I hope she doesn't poop on my floor, because that would not be cool during a live stream to have her poop on my floor. ChatGPT doesn't do encounters, fights, conflicts anymore. Did they used to do it? And they disabled it or something? Interesting. Yeah, Vitter says ChatGPT is really nice to get ideas. That's the main value that I've seen is getting ideas. Absolutely. Lord Alathorn, thank you for the $5 super chat. When doing a dungeon crawl campaign and characters level up in a dungeon, how do you handle that? Do you wait for them to go to a city? I always wait for them to go to a city. Yes. You in my games, you need to take 1 week of downtime in order to level up. This 1 week of downtime, it provides for a few different things. What I have noticed in my games is that players have other little projects they want to do, things they're interested in doing, but they always feel like the clock is ticking. They always feel like we have to go to the next adventure. We have to go solve something, because if we don't, bad stuff is gonna happen, because Luke is cruel and devious and evil and he will, and so they always feel like they have to go do the next thing. And so, but I also know that they want to do little side projects. Like the one guy wants to see if he can find a magic item somewhere. You know, the one guy here wants to create his like wizard's tower. You know, he wants to construct that and get things moving on that. But if I don't create space and opportunity for them to be able to do that, they're always just going to go on to the next adventure. And so what I do is I force them to take 1 week of downtime to level up. Every time they level up, they have to take a week of downtime to level up. And while they're training and whatever they might do, they can choose downtime activities, personal projects that they want to pursue independent of the group, right? And we don't spend a lot of time on this. Doing a week of downtime probably takes a half an hour at the game table. We're literally just going boom, 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 resolving it mechanically, and we're done. We don't sit there for like game sessions, you know, role playing every aspect of downtime. We don't do that. Not in my groups, right? We resolve it in about a half an hour, and then we get back to the adventuring, right? Because that's the main reason why we're all here, is to go on these adventures and quests and stuff, because that's like the bulk and heart, you know, of what my groups at least like doing. But we do downtime. It gives them the ability to progress side projects. It also does one other thing that's super, super important. It gives me, the game master, time to do stuff behind the scenes. For instance, I have things that are going on in my game world, and those events need to progress. But if I don't have time, I can't allow those events to progress, because if you never force your players to take any sort of downtime, they're almost literally going to go from level 1 to 20 in about a month of game time, actual game, you know, in game time. It doesn't take that long, because they go on one adventure, it takes a day, they level up. Next adventure is the next day, they level up. They go, like, you level up in like under a month, right? And that's not enough time as a game master. If I have events and things transpiring in the game world that I want to work in for my campaign, that's not enough time for me to actually do that. I need time to be able to do those machinations behind the scenes. So the 1 week of downtime forces players to, it allows them to pursue their pet projects, things they want to do, and it also allows me to do that, make things in the game world progress and happen, right? So very, very important. And so what I do is, to level up, you must take a week of downtime for those reasons I just stated. So it doesn't matter, like, the question is specifically about a dungeon crawl campaign, but whether you're running a dungeon crawl campaign where you're just delving deeper, or whether you're running a normal campaign or any other type of campaign, it doesn't really matter. Like, whatever campaign you're running, you know, I would suggest and recommend that when characters level up, they need to go back to a city of some sort, a town of some sort, and take a week of downtime, because that allows for lots of benefits that I just got done explaining. So that is my suggestion, regardless of the type of campaign that you're running. Oh, there's a question here about a GM screen stretch goal. So Matthew Chamberlain, what's up, dude? Thank you, man. Good to see you again. We have to, because his question is with regard to our Kickstarter that we have coming up. So if you're just joining us, let me put this in context here. So we have a Kickstarter coming up in August. This is our next Kickstarter. It is The Secret Art of Game Mastery. We're basically producing a book that is going to have all of the Game Master experience and information and expertise that I and several members of my team master have gathered over the decades of time that we've been running games. And we're putting this all into one book. It is system agnostic. It is genre agnostic. So it doesn't matter if you're running D&D, Pathfinder, Call of Cthulhu, Savage Worlds. It doesn't matter if you're running fantasy, sci-fi, horror, or steampunk. The information in this book is going to be valuable for game masters. And if you're a new game master, holy crap, this is gold. If you're a veteran game master, I guarantee you there's going to be stuff in here that you can learn from as well. So this book is geared for game masters and helping you and giving you information. So I bring that up in part because sleazy plug, right? But also in part, by the way, if you click that link in the chat, you can go to this page and you can follow the Kickstarter and get notified when it launches as well. So there you go. Sleazy plug done. That's the context, though, of what the question is about. And they were asking about whether there's going to be a Game Master screen stretch goal. Now the thing is that the way that we are beginning now to structure our Kickstarters is that we are creating all of the content beforehand, so that we literally, the book is laid out, it is written, it is ready to print. It is print ready. before the Kickstarter ever launches. The goal is that we launch the Kickstarter, and then the Kickstarter closes, and we go right to press. We start printing your books so that you can have your books probably about 2 months or so, maybe 3, because we print and then it's got to ship and then it's got to get fulfilled. So there's a little bit of a delay, but we want to get you your books as quickly as possible instead of making you wait 1 year. Now, because of that, because of the way that we're structuring that and we're going right to fulfillment as quickly as possible, that means that we have to structure our stretch goals in different ways. And so we cannot add content to the book as a stretch goal. It's impossible. If you add content, we're no longer shipping you a book in 2 months. It's going to take a year again, because guess what? There's a whole production process that takes a lot of time. Lots of time. I don't want to get into that right now because it takes a long time when you add content. So we've literally started working on this book last year in July. I think it was June or July. It was last year, 2002, June or July, that we began working on this book. And it's taken us, that's how long it takes to get these things together and to get them. So anyway, stretch goals have to be very specific and very special so that it doesn't impact our fulfillment timeline, which means that basically if we were to add on a Game Master screen as a stretch goal, guess what? You wouldn't be getting your book and all of your stuff right away. It would take a whole lot longer. So that we can't do something like that. You know, we have to pick things that can easily be shifted and changed. And so basically our stretch goals are mostly going to be around, and Zach, Goliath Cleric in the chat, he's our director of new product development. And so this is like his baby and he's running these projects now. Obviously the whole team is contributing to them, but Zach is like in charge of that stuff. And so he can speak probably, I don't know, if the stretch goals that we have set up, most of them, if not all of them, have to do with making the books better. So for instance, thicker covers, thicker premium paper, right? Those are the types of stretch goals that we build into our products now, because those things are pretty easy to account for. I just tell my printer, hey, make the cover thicker. Hey, emboss the cover. Hey, put foil on the cover. Hey, let's do some UV spot printing on the cover. Hey, let's do a leather cover. These are things, those are the types of things that you can pretty quickly adapt for on the fly, and you can plan for in advance too, much more effectively. But there are other things that you just can't plan for in advance and make happen. So we have to make our stretch goals a little bit different. And so yeah, things like a Game Master screen and stuff is kind of out for that. You see these Kickstarter, and this is something, by the way, this is something too that we have learned doing these Kickstarters. 80 to 90% of the people, all they get is the main offering, the main book, right? Almost nobody gets all of these little fancy add-ons that are there. Nobody gets the t-shirts and the minis you are. It depends on your Kickstarter, right? But a lot of these Kickstarters have all of this stuff on there. And the amount of people that get all of those little extra add-ons aren't that many. And yet, doing all of those little fancy things account for a lion's work of the load of logistics and coordination and project management and all these types of things, and working with different people that can make all of these things. There's a lot of cost that goes into making all these little fancy things. But when you look at the actual behind the scenes analytics of the revenue that you gain, there's almost no revenue that comes from all those little fancy things. And then once you account for, you know, all of the work and effort and time you put into coordinating all of those fancy things, you wonder, why did I do all those fancy things? You know, like if most people just want the core book, right, then adding all these little tiny fancy things, it's like, yeah, some people are going to be happy and they're going to get them, right? But you have to think about the opportunity cost. Remember, we have a very small team. We have 2 full-time employees. Obviously, I'm full-time, you know, and then we have freelancers, we have cartographers, and then we have a couple other people that get paid, you know, one's hourly and the other gets paid by gifts, basically, because they have a full-time job and I can't actually pay them. So I just send them a whole bunch of RPG stuff, books and stuff to fill their shelves with. But my point is we have a very small team, right? And so we have to be very careful about what we spend our time doing, because if we spend our time doing stuff that doesn't contribute a whole lot of value, you know, then that's an opportunity cost, right? And it prevented us from doing something else, right, in the business to grow. And so we have to be very careful. I was in a meeting 2 days ago
with Zach and Sunny. They're my 2 full-time employees. And they were talking, I think Zach was talking about all the different projects we have going on. We have Lair Magazine, we have these Kickstarters, you know, we have all these things that we're doing. And he was like, this is a lot of stuff. This is a lot of stuff that we're doing. And I'm like, yeah, that's exciting. That's really, really cool. I said, you know, we're a really small company. I bet you, even though we're very small and we don't have that many people that work for us, we probably produce like maybe a third of the content that Wizards of the Coast produces. And Zach was like, no. And I'm like, what? You think we produce more? And so we did the math. We did the math. I want to show you this because this was super exciting. I was pumped when we did the math on this. We were trying to compare the quantity of products that we produce as a very small company to the quantity of products that Wizards of the Coast produces. And this was insane. So hold on, I'm going to show you my screen. We're going to do the math together. All right, I got my calculator here. I'm going to see if I can make it bigger. I can make it bigger. All right, sweet. So let's first of all, let's look at what Wizards does every year. Let's say that Wizards books average about 200 pages. Sometimes they do crappy books like Spelljammer that are only 150 pages. Other times they put out books that are maybe around 300. Let's say they average 200 pages. And then they have about 6 books a year. I think it's about 6 books a year. That's 1,200 pages. That is what Wizards of the Coast creates in pages every year. Okay, we're just doing simple comparisons just to show some basic numbers. Okay, now we produce Lair magazine every month. It usually has about 60 to 70 pages in it, but let's be conservative. Let's be conservative and say it's 50 pages every single month. Well, now we're up to 600 pages. We're already at half. We're already at half with that publication. And then we put out, this year coming out is Lairs and Legends, which has 2 books in it. One book is at 350 pages. The other is at like 400 or something. It comes out to about 700 pages. It literally comes out to about 700 pages of content. Okay. And then we have our next Kickstarter, the secret, our GM Advice Kickstarter, the Secret Art of Game Mastery. That's going to have, I think it's going to have about 250 to 300 or something. I forget the exact number. Okay. We're already surpassing page count. So this was exciting because we were like comparing, right? Our tiny team and the amount of stuff that we put out, and then the massive billion-dollar company and the amount of content they put out. And it was crazy to see that comparison. I was excited when I saw that. It's a testament to our team and how awesome and hardworking our team is, I think. But anyway, I forget what the question was. Somebody was asking a question. Oh, we were talking about the stretch goals and stuff. So anyway, yeah, I have a super small team. We do a lot of work, and so we have to be very selective about what we do and what we don't do. That's the bottom line. All right, I need to take a dramatic drink of coffee right now.
Once upon a time, there was a dungeon master named Timmy. He was too busy to properly prepare for his games, and his players all thought he sucked. But then Timmy's mommy got him Lair magazine for Christmas, reducing his prep time and improving the quality of his games. And then Timmy's players all loved him and thought he was the best dungeon master ever. Be like Timmy and become a DM Lair patron at the link below. Yeah!
All right, all right, let's go back to our questions. Oh, okay, another super chat. I'm gonna hit another question up here I saw first, and then I'll get to your super chat. Dennis asks, can you explain a bit more about using your hex crawl from the new Lairs and Legends download? Yeah. Let me go over there. Let me pull that up on screen, and I will show you our most recent issue of Lair magazine that came out, and then I'll kind of walk you through how to use the hex crawl. It doesn't take that long. It's pretty simple, and it'll take me probably a couple minutes to explain this to you. I just need to pull the issue up, and I will show it to you, and then I'll walk you through how to use that. So give me a hot second as I pull this bad boy up. Here we go. That's gonna come up on my screen, and then I make this big, and then I change my camera. Okay, baby, let's go. All right, there we go. Okay, so this was the issue of Lair magazine that just came out in March. It came out last week. And this is our hex crawl issue, which I was super excited to get out there. So basically, the hex crawl. Let me change my view on this page display. I want to do a 2-page view. Boom, there we go. Okay, so and you can see this is 73 pages, by the way, 73 pages. This is an example of what we release every month in Lair magazine. All right, so this is the Harrowed Lands hex crawl. Now, the basic idea of the hex crawl is that you have a map. This is a map. And by the way, when you get anything from us, you also get all of the maps that go along with this. And so I'm gonna pull up the region map, label grid, high res. Let's see. Here we go. So for instance, when you get this hex crawl map or Lair magazine, you're gonna get the digital files too for all these maps. So I got gridded, there was non-gridded, there's labels, there's non-labels, non-gridded and stuff, and then this is the full version and stuff. All right, so you're gonna get all of these different digital files as well. You get digital files for all of our maps. All of our maps come in high res, they come in low res, they have gridded and non-gridded. They're perfect for throwing into a digital online platform like Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds or Foundry or something like that. So, but anyway, the idea of a hex crawl, I'm gonna zoom in right here. The idea of a hex crawl is that you start in a place. Here you start in Grimstone, and then the players decide. There's a premise. You set forth a premise, of something, and then they start going from hex to hex, and they encounter different things in those hexes. And so if they start in Grimstone, let's pretend they go to hex H3, and they travel into H3. And so then I'm going to reference this chart right here, and it tells me what happens in hex H3. Come on, let's scrolly. This is an encounter called Grave. Okay, oh man, I'm struggle bus today. That's an encounter called Grave Troubles. So we'll go over to our table of contents over here, and Squeaky, will you stop pawing at me? I'm trying to find Grave Troubles. There we go. Grave Troubles. So I go to Grave Troubles, and there is an encounter that takes place, and I run this encounter. And then they go back to, they run the encounter, they might travel to a different hex. Oh, let me go to this guy. They'll travel to a different hex, and then from H3, let's pretend they go to H13. So they go to H13, which is Unknown Assailants is another encounter. And then I'll just find Unknown Assailants, and then I'll go to that encounter. Now, we also have, besides just encounters, we have, there are encounters, there are mini adventures. These are shorter adventures that take place. And we also have full-blown, full-length adventures, 3 of them as well. So as they're going across this map, they can find encounters, there are mini adventures, and there are full-length adventures as well. And you could also have random encounters happen as well if you'd like to. And that's the premise of a hex crawl, is that you're basically just traveling from hex to hex. Now, you're usually going to put some sort of overarching situation and context around it, to get, because people like story in our RPG games these days, but that's the essence, at the heart and soul of it. That's what a hex crawl is, so it is a different way of playing the game than just what we normally do, which is there's some sort of NPC quest giver or something, and then the characters go off to a certain place to do an adventure or something. This is it focuses more on exploration, mystery, not knowing what you're going to encounter, and then finding something cool. And by the way, all of our encounters and stuff aren't necessarily just combat and fighting stuff. We don't believe in making encounters that are always just fighting stuff, because that's just unimaginative. But that's essentially the essence of a hex crawl when you boil it all down to it, and how you would more or less run a hex crawl. Now, that said, we also published we have another publication that came out with our hex crawl, and I'm going to show you this really quick too. It shows you, it gives you, it's a really quick, lightweight rule set that walks through how to run a hex crawl as well. So I'm going to put this over on the screen. So this also came out. It's called Navigating the Hexes, which basically is a rule set that explains to you how to run the hex crawl. So this month in March, people who became a DM Lair patron at the $15 level got the issue of Lair magazine that I just got done showing you for the hex crawl, and you also get this little rule set here. It's not too long, it's like just a few pages long, and it explains to you how to run a hex crawl. So essentially, DM Lair patrons this month got everything they need to run a hex crawl of their own, right? And the hex crawl was designed for levels, I think it was 3, was it 3, 5, and 6, or 5, 7, and 8? Let's go take a look. I work on so many things, I can't keep track of specific details. 5 to 7. It is a hex crawl for characters levels 5 to 7. So that, and then you get a rule set as well that explains how to run hex crawls. So anyway, there's the answer to your question, which also conveniently was a sleazy plug for Lair magazine, which is cool because it's an amazing product and you should all check it out. Russell, thank you for the $5 super chat. If you have a group of good role players whose characters wouldn't naturally work together, how do I motivate them to want to adventure together? Russell, my friend, you don't. That is not your job. That is not your job. You take that little nugget, that little problem, and you make your players solve that problem. It is literally, when I run my games and I ask my players to make characters, it is literally one of the requirements of making a character that they must decide why they are going to adventure with the other members of their group. That is a problem that I do not even try to solve as a game master. I'm not going to try to motivate them to do a thing that they wouldn't naturally do because they're trying to roleplay their characters. No, I require my players to design characters that have some motivation. I don't care what it is. It's your character. You use your creativity. You use your brain, but you figure out why you want to be an adventurer to begin with, and you don't just become a blacksmith or a shopkeeper on game session 1. And you have a reason to adventure with other characters. You figure out the reason. And those are things that you need to have. It might be in your backstory, it might not be in your backstory, but it needs to be something that motivates your character. You figure out the reasons, you figure out the why. I am not going to try as a game master to motivate my players to adventure together. It is a requirement to play in my games that you all have a reason to stay together and adventure together as a group, and that you roleplay that. Because I run group games, and I'm not going to sit here and beat my head against a wall trying to motivate you to stay together. That is the height of ridiculousness, in my opinion. I don't even try it. I don't even attempt it. I have lost that battle. And especially if you have good role players, you lose that battle before you ever begin, because they're going to nitpick and be like, well, that's not what I would do. That doesn't motivate my character, or maybe it does. You know, don't even try, don't fight that battle. Don't even go there. That's your player's problem to solve. You push that off onto your players and you ask them to figure out the reason they're going to stay together. You ask them to figure out the reason they even want to go on adventures. That's up to them to decide. Now, they need to have those reasons. They must. It's a requirement. If you make a character that wants to be a Lone Ranger, solo, dark loner, you know, eschews like society, wants nothing to do with other people, that's great. You make that character. I love the fact that that excites you and that you want to make a character that is all about staying and being a dark loner. Great. But do not bring that character to my game, because I will immediately ask you to make a new character that wants to stay with the group for the most part and adventure together and go on adventures. So make your character, express your creativity and the cool awesomeness that can be that character, but don't bring it to my game, because you're going to be asked to make a different character that will actually work in a group game. So that is the requirement for my characters. Now, you might say, well, you're taking away agency. Yeah, for the sake of gameplay, so that we can actually play the game and not be frustrated and beat our heads against the wall. And maybe that's not everybody's cup of tea, but I've never had a problem with players who buck against small, tiny requirements that allow everyone to have fun and not be frustrated. Everybody's asking about my GM screen. How many segments do you like on your GM screen? I think the Pathfinder 2 GM screen is a work of art. I'm gonna get it for you. Hold on a second. Oh, sorry, doggy. Sorry, doggy. I don't think, you guys, I don't think I'm probably ever gonna stop gushing over how well made Pathfinder 2nd Edition is. It boggles my mind. Pathfinder 2nd Edition has existed for several years, and I never checked it out until recently, and it boggles my mind because it's such a great game system. This is their screen. This screen is a work of art. Now, first of all, the first reason this is a work of art is the artwork on it is spectacular. It is hands down gorgeous. It inspires you to adventure. Look at this. Action, 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 action. This inspires you to adventure. It is beautiful. And that is true for all of the artwork in Pathfinder 2nd Edition that I've seen up to this point. It is inspiring. It is amazing. It is gorgeous. It makes me want to run adventures and run the game. Now, the second thing that is absolutely amazing about this screen is on the inside of the screen, they actually put the stuff that you need to reference as a game master. Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition, their first Game Master screen was a piece of garbage. There was nothing on that screen that you would actually want to use when you're running a game. But when I got this screen, and then I've been, started reading Pathfinder 2nd Edition, I'm running a game now for it, and I play another game with it, a couple of games right now with it. I was looking in here and I'm like, oh my gosh, they actually put the stuff in this screen that you need to reference. Conditions. They have all the conditions. I cannot tell you how many times I flipped to the conditions section of my player handbook for 5th edition when I run 5th edition games. On the turns, they have an explanation of different things that you can do on your turns with page reference numbers. Page reference numbers. Wow, amazing. All right, what other goodies do we have on here? Let me flip this open. I'm trying not to break this thing too. Oh yes, look at this. Skill action references. The different skills you can take. The DCs by level. Holy crap, man. And then you have identifying creatures. What skills does it take to identify different types of creatures? The type of creature and then the skill that it matches up to. Wow, amazingly useful. All right, what's the next one we got here? Okay, this right here, detecting creatures. This was a fairly complex part of the game that I'm still wrapping my head around, but here's an easy reference for it. That's great. Structures. You want to break down a door? Okay, here we go. You want to force it open? Yay. Awesome. Experience rewards. Okay, some easy reference here and stuff. Elite adjustments. If you want to make a monster stronger, here you go. Here's how to do it. A weak adjustment. You can do it. Like, could you make a better screen? It's like, you know what this tells me? This tells me that the people who design Pathfinder 2 products actually play the game. They actually play the game and they know what a game master actually wants to reference at their game table. It's amazing. It seems common sense, but the thing is when you've bought products from a different company that are garbage, you're like, do these people even play the game? They made a game master screen that sucks, and then you get it from a company who kicks the crap out of it and knocks it out of the park, and you're like, well, that's how it should have been. So why didn't the first company get it right? Like, what was the problem? Like, do you not play the game? So anyway, it's crazy, but it's very, very solid. I don't even know what the question was. Oh, the question was, how many segments do you like on your GM screen? 4. I do like 4. This is perfect. Again, the number of segments is perfect and the height is perfect. So I got 4 segments. So it gives me plenty of space. I got a nice wide area back here, and it's not super tall either. What they did is they took a standard 8.5 by 11 page and they just turned it portrait. No, landscape. They turned it landscape, right? That's the perfect height for me. It doesn't obscure. If it were this tall, it's getting unreasonably tall. Like, why do I need a DM screen that is like 11.5 inches tall? It just needs to be, 8.5. That's perfect, right? And then 4 segments gives me a lot of space behind here, so that's perfect. It's like I said, everything on this GM screen was well designed. Beautiful. Okay, there we go. Paizo should like pay me something for saying all these wonderful things about them. But of course, if they paid me, you might not trust me. So I don't know. There's always that handoff, right? Trade-off. Oh, here's a related question. Neelan says, I probably screwed your name up, I'm sorry. Have you tried more of Pathfinder 2nd Edition? And how do you like it? It's so much better than 5th Edition, D&D. You have no idea how much better Pathfinder is. Pathfinder 2nd Edition is so much better than D&D 5th Edition. Like, it's so much better. It's mind-bogglingly better. It's better designed, it's better balanced, it makes the game master's life easier. It's so much easier to run. It's oh my gosh. Okay, I am seriously considering switching from D&D 5e. My frustration grows with party level. I'm only 2 years into DMing. Yeah, because D&D 5th Edition has they don't have balance correct. They don't have balance correct. Like, as the party gets higher and higher level, the balance is all screwed up and nothing works. The thing that I've been told about Pathfinder 2nd Edition is you can actually play the game from level 1 to 20 and things are mostly balanced. Now there's always going to be like wrenches thrown out there, but they've designed it to be super balanced is what I've heard. Everybody has said it's super balanced. You know, I haven't gone from level 1 to 20 yet to experience it myself, but everybody has told me it's super balanced. And everybody about 5th edition D&D says that it's completely unbalanced and whacked all out of proportion. So yes, if you're running D&D 5th edition, as you go from level 1 to 20, increasingly it's just going to get harder and combat slogs down and takes forever too. This is an interesting thing too. Last night I ran a game for a bunch of patrons. And this is one of the things, if you become a DM Lair patron, I run games for you too. Every month I run one shot game, and then I choose the players for my patrons. But last night was one of those games. And afterward, we were just having a discussion after the game ended, and Ed Robinson is our lead developer for the DM Lair. And he was in that game last night, and he was talking about Pathfinder. He's been running Pathfinders. So everybody on my team is switching to Pathfinder 2nd edition. It's crazy. Like Zach is running a Pathfinder 2nd edition game. I'm switching to Pathfinder 2nd edition. Ed is now switching to 2 Pathfinder 2nd edition games. You know, everybody is switching to Pathfinder 2nd edition. Like, it's like as we discover and learn more about it, it's like, wow, like we've been missing out for so long, you know. Anyway, Ed was telling me that what he's noticed in Pathfinder 2nd edition is combat goes faster. And I was like, that's interesting. Why, you know, why do you think combat goes faster? And he's like, well, because in 5th edition, you have movement, you have an action, you have a bonus action, and then you have like a free interact with the environment thing, right? And so, but in Pathfinder 2nd edition, you just have 3 actions. That's it. Movement, interactions, claws in my leg, everything comes down to using your 3 actions. That's it. And so what Ed was saying is that in 5th edition, on a player's turn, they're like, okay, am I gonna move? I'll do a little bit of movement. Okay, cool. Oh, I gotta make some attacks. All right, let's cast a spell. There we go. Okay, cool. That was my action. Do I have any bonus actions? Is there anything I can do with bonus actions? Let me see. Oh, Shield of Faith. I'm gonna cast Shield of Faith. Okay, cool. Oh, but wait a second. You cast Spirit Guardians with your actions. You can't cast Shield of Faith with your bonus action because you can't do that. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, well then could I have cast a cantrip instead? You know, instead of Spirit Guardians, could I do a cantrip? That way I could also do Shield of Faith. Oh, okay. Okay, fine. All right, sweet. Oh, free interact with the environment. Oh, you know what? I want to use my movement to go back to that door and then close that door with my free interact. Oh, okay, you can do that. Okay, cool, sweet. That was my turn. Pathfinder 2nd edition. All right, I'm gonna move up to the bad guy. That's done. I'm gonna attack the bad guy once. That's a bad finger. I'm gonna attack the bad guy, and then I'm gonna attack a second time. There, done. 3 actions, done. You know, and you're not sitting there looking for a bonus action, looking to do some more movement or something to wrap up your turn with a movement, because you can't split your movement up in Pathfinder 2nd edition. You move 5 feet, that's your movement. That action's done. You attack once, that action's done. You attack the second time, that action's done, and then you move on. And this is what Ed was saying. He says, look it, because of the simplicity of having 3 actions and not having movement plus an action plus a bonus action plus a free interact with the environment, the simplicity of that makes players' turns go faster. And we all know, anybody who has played this game knows that the thing that bogs down combat the most is individual players taking too long on their turns. Whether it's because they're thinking about what they're going to do, or whether it's because they have to figure out all these different like movement, action, bonus action crap, you know? So streamlining and making it just 3 actions period makes combat go faster is what Ed was telling me. And he's been running it now and he's observed this. And so I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense, you know? So, anyway, Nylan, I highly encourage you to consider switching to Pathfinder 2nd Edition. It is a little bit more crunchy. There are more rules that govern different things, but let me say this. What I have noticed over the last, how long have I been running 5th edition? A decade? I think I've been playing and running 5th edition not quite since it came out. I was a little late on the party, but I've been running it for almost as long as 5th edition has been out. Or I've been a player or running the game, one way or the other. And one of the things that I've noticed in 5th edition is that it's rules light and there are certain things that are not addressed. And you have to make up rulings on those things. There are certain things that always come up in every game, and that the game master has to make a ruling on it and make a house rule. And it feels like these things that always come up, but 5th edition rules don't address, they are kind of a frustrating part of being a dungeon master. Paizo and Pathfinder 2nd Edition, they addressed those things. They made rules for them so that you don't have to just do a house ruling and then have a discussion, possible argument with the player, you know, about what actually happens. Because look, it's in the rule book. It's in the rule book. Look, it's right there. It's so, you have to understand. It depends on the game master. It depends on your players. But there are times when literally having it in the rule book, having a rule to address something makes your job easier because you don't have to figure it out. You don't have to have a discussion with your players. You don't have to make a house rule and then keep track of your house rule, write it down, have it there for reference. When you have new players that come on, show them and share with them all of your house rules over all of these gray areas that 5th edition D&D didn't address. It makes it easier for a game master, in my opinion, to address those things that commonly come up. Now, you can go too far, the pendulum can swing too far in the other direction, obviously, and you can have way too many rules, and then that bogs you down too. You need the just right. Not too little, not too many, just right. And thus far, I feel like Pathfinder 2nd Edition is hitting that mark. And that makes me super, super excited. So, yeah, highly encourage you to check out Pathfinder 2nd Edition. I gotta use the bathroom. All right, I'm gonna be back in just a couple seconds.
Hello, Barbarian here. I'm interrupting your regularly scheduled program with a very important announcement. Now, some of you have been watching the DM Lair for years now, and others of you are new here. And if you're new, that's okay. And if you're really old and you have like gray hair or no hair at all, I mean, that's okay too. We do not participate in ageism around here. In fact, this is an ism-free zone. There are like absolutely no isms around here. In fact, if your name ends in ism, you should leave now. Wait, you know what? Just to play it safe, if you have any of the following letters in your name, you should leave. I, S, or M. Yeah. Anyway, the important announcement. Well, I'm really just going to ask you for money, but I'm going to dress it all up in fancy marketing clothes so that you'll never even realize that I'm manipulating your fragile emotions to make a quick buck. Trust me, this will be the world's best sleazy plug. Won't you please consider becoming a DM Lair patron at the link below? You see, my team and I work really hard to publish Lair magazine every month for our beautiful patrons. And when we don't have enough patrons, well, revenue dips. And when revenue dips, we have to do cutbacks. And well, that's really sad. You see, people always blame companies when they have to do cutbacks, but really it's your fault as the consumer for not buying all their crap. Or it's because they're trying to maximize shareholder value for stockholders. Or, you know, the C-suite could just have their heads up their butts because, you know, that happens a lot. Anyway, I'm not just asking you to throw your money into a hole. When you become a DM Lair patron, you're going to get cool stuff every month. 5th edition adventures, monsters, traps, puzzles, magic items, digital maps, and more. So If you don't want me to have to fire Penguin Butt and Goliath Cleric, become a DM Lair patron today at the link below. Oh no, I just realized that I have an I in my name. Barbarian has an I in it. I guess I'm gonna have to fire myself. Bye now.
Oh. Whee. All right, there we go. I gotta get my tea. There you go. I gotta calm down too. My throat is starting to hurt. I'm getting too excited and talking about stuff. I answered that question a while ago. Would you ever consider not having a Game Master screen? I always have a Game Master screen. Mostly I put my notes behind it. I roll out in the open for the most part. When I run an in-game person, I don't hide my dice rolls. I roll everything out in the open. In combat, all that stuff. There are a couple dice rolls that I will do behind the screen. One of them is just I'm rolling a dice because, and I'm not telling my players, and it literally means nothing. It's just make them be like, oh my gosh, why is he rolling dice? You know, or like if a conversation is dragging on too long and they're going in circles, roll some dice, you know, and they're like, oh, what the heck's going on over there? Why is he rolling dice? Come on, guys, hurry up, let's go. You know, I don't know, but there's also some other things like, let's pretend random encounters, okay? Random encounters are supposed to be random. You're supposed to roll dice to determine when there's going to be a random encounter. However, as a game master, I also like to use my brain and my ability to read the table and to read the ebb and flow of tension and relaxation that happens in a game session. And there are some times when you are running a game that you just have this feeling that, you know what, a random encounter right now is a bad idea. We just need to get to the place or do the thing. Random encounters right now that's not what the group needs right now. However, there's also times when you can just tell that we need a random encounter. Like, for whatever reason, this is the time right now that I need to have some monsters charge on this screen and we need to get down to it. And so then it's like, I don't want in those two instances, I don't want random dice telling me what to do. Because as a game master, I am curating the game experience and I can decide, I have a better brain than my dice do. And I know if we need a random encounter or if we don't. So a lot of times for random encounters, I'll roll a dice for it behind the screen. And sometimes I do what the dice tell me to do. Other times I don't. It really just depends. So that random encounters are something that I'll hide behind the screen because, and also I've shared this many times before, many times my encounters are not random. I use random encounters for me personally to be able to use cool monsters that I found reading the books that I haven't been able to use and that maybe don't fit organically into the campaign that I'm running. But a random encounter can be anything. So I find a cool monster, I'm like, oh, we're gonna have a random encounter with this monster. And so it doesn't matter what the dice say. Like the next time they're traveling from point A to point B, they're gonna come across that monster and we're gonna have some fun. And so that's another thing that I tend to do. My random encounters are often planned encounters. This is gonna be really hot. I gotta be careful. It's not hot. I think my coffee pot turned off. My coffee pot has like an auto 2-hour turn off, and it apparently turned off because now my water is like lukewarm. I'm barely gonna get tea out of that. Joe Stryker is in a meeting. He's got the stream on in a meeting too. That's awesome. I hope your meeting gets over soon, dude. Meetings suck. Well, most meetings suck. David and Dragons says, is the new book focused on helping brand new game masters or intermediate game masters or a mixture of both? So he's referencing The Secret Art of Game Mastery, which is our next Kickstarter that'll be coming out in August this year. And they'll probably get a link in the chat too if you guys want to go follow it. It's both. It's really both. We're putting information in there that For sure, if you're a new game master, you're going to find it very valuable. But we're putting in there the expertise, my expertise, some of my team members' expertise. We're putting in all of our expertise into this book. So I'm confident too that even veteran game masters are going to find stuff in there that's going to be useful for you. So we're trying to make it, put as much of our information in our heads in there as possible to help you. And again, it is system agnostic and genre agnostic. Doesn't matter if you're running Pathfinder, 5th edition, D&D, if you're running Call of Cthulhu, if you're running horror, fantasy, sci-fi, steampunk, the information in there it applies to all of that different stuff. So lots of people should find it valuable, is the intention. All right, I'm gonna go back a little bit here. How do you design dungeon maps quickly? It takes me hours to even make a map that isn't linear and still makes sense. All right, let me tell you my dirty little secret on designing dungeon maps. I usually don't. I am a patron from one Patreon channel or something that makes dungeon maps, and I go in and look through their maps, and if I have an idea in my mind of an adventure I want to run, I'll look through their maps and find a map that kind of works, and I design my adventure around their map. I shortcut that. I let them do the work of designing a cool map, especially if I'm playing online, and then I'll just make my adventure around that map. And that is something I do all the time. I used to, on graph paper, make all of my maps by hand, by scratch. And then I would have to Google different maps and get inspiration and then tweak things and stuff. But now, more and more, I'm literally shifting to just finding a pre-made map and using pre-made maps. For instance, one of the things that DM Lair patrons get is map packs. Every month, people at the $10 tier and above get a map pack that has 10 digital maps on it. You get 4 dungeons, full dungeons that you can run an entire adventure in, and you get 6 encounter maps as well. And we have themes around the map packs. And they come in high res, low res, gridded, and ungridded. So you get 4 different versions of every map, and they're made to just throw into a virtual tabletop of your choice. And so this is another thing we give to our patrons, because as you're saying in your question, it can take you hours to make a map, especially if you're using something like Incarnate or other online map making tools. It takes you time to design the map, and then you got to make it look nice for your online players and stuff. Now, even if I'm running a game in person, I can still take a pre-made map that was designed for online play and use it for an in-person game. It doesn't have to just be if you're online and stuff. So I shortcut all of that. I just use pre-made maps, to be perfectly honest with you, because it takes me less time. Making a map does not excite me. What excites me is creating the adventure, finding the monsters, and then creating like the plot, the overarching problem that's happening, setting up that situation, and then designing that adventure. Now, do I want a cool map? Yes. Do I need a map that's designed properly? Yes. There needs to be multiple entrances. You don't want it to be a linear map. You want the players to have options and choices they can make while they're in the adventure. So a well-designed map is important to running a good adventure. But I don't need to spend hours of my time making that map when there are other people that make wonderful maps that I could just pay $5 or $10 a month and get the maps. It's like that. If I'm considering paying $10 to get a bunch of maps each month, right? Or spending hours of my own time making the maps and having my maps probably not be as good, I'm gonna pay $10. So that's the ultimate shortcut. That said, I'm pretty sure I have a video on my channel that talks about some of the fundamental considerations when you're making a map. And I do know too that in The Secret Art of Game Mastery, our next Kickstarter, we do have an entire chapter that is devoted to map making. And it was written by one of our very best cartographers that we have on our team. Rye Clark, who also goes by North of Dust Productions, wrote that chapter. And they are an amazing cartographer. So we actually had a cartographer write that chapter for us. And they're a good writer too. They're writing stuff for Lair magazine as well. They're a great cartographer, now they're writing stuff for us too. So yeah, we'll have that information as well in that book when it comes out. So there you go. This is a really good question. At what point is someone considered a veteran game master? Man, there are like so many little metrics or little like analytical points you could probably make, At what point are you a veteran game master? Is it time? Is it time doing it? I think time is a component. Time is a component. I also feel like there's probably, and these are all subjective. I don't think that there is an objective, like, numbers-based approach where you can say you are a veteran because you've been doing it for 5 years or 10 years or something. I don't think that works. I think this is all kind of subjective, and I think that some people are going to probably cross the threshold of beginner to veteran faster than others, for various reasons. I think it is a state of being that, and there are probably like character qualities or different characteristics that indicate that state of being. I think one of them is time, though somebody could go from new to veteran in a year, perhaps, and others it might take a decade for them to do it. So time is a component, but it's variable. I feel like there is a level of expertise and mastery too that needs to be present. Like you might have been a game master for a decade, but you still fumble with the basics. You still aren't sure how to design encounters. You still can't make your own adventures. You have a really hard time describing things to your players, or you have a hard time creating a situation that motivates your players. You have a hard time making plot hooks. Like, these are all basics of game mastery, right? And you might have been doing it for 10 years, but you still struggle with a lot of these things. You're probably not a veteran, even though you've been doing it for a long time, right? Because these are some basics that until you can say, yeah, I can do all those things, that's not a problem, you're not a veteran, right? Like, plot hooks, super, super important. Super, super important. Like, if you don't have a good plot hook, you might not have an adventure because your players are just going to walk the other direction, right? So there are lots of these things, right? So there needs to be a level of expertise and mastery before you probably cross into the threshold of being a veteran. You prefaced this whole thing, Mad Hatter, with saying that this is an easy question. I don't think it's an easy question. I don't think it's an easy answer. There are some complexities to it, right? So there's that. There's the expertise. I think there's a time element. I think there's also probably like a fun element to it as well. Like, are your players enjoying themselves? Are they having tons of fun? Now, maybe that doesn't work because you can be a beginner game master and your players could have tons of fun. So that probably actually doesn't work. That's probably not a good marker of whether you're. Thank you for putting your butt in my face. I appreciate that. And then show it to everybody on camera. That's great. Let's keep doing your thing. They're all here to watch your butt. We appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah. Yep. Look at me like you don't know what I'm saying. I don't know. I think those are some of the things probably that are cross into being a veteran. Time and expertise. I think those are probably a couple different things. Martin says, I think there's a difference between being a veteran and being good. There are veteran sports players who still suck. No, that's a measure of time. You're thinking of being a veteran as a measure of time. I don't consider it to just be a measure of time. I think that being considered a veteran should also be a measure of your expertise. And so a sports player who's been doing, let's say they play baseball. If they've been playing baseball for 20 years, but they suck, I would argue that they're not a veteran in the true sense. I would say that they've been doing it a long time and they've sucked for a long time. What does this say? Lord God said, oh yeah, Luke, way to dip into the Twitch stream success mode. I don't know what that means. What do you mean by that, dude? I think I might know what you mean, but I'm not sure. Will you quit rubbing the camera? Are you serious? You big turd? Lord God, can you expand on that. That sounds interesting, and I might talk about that, but I don't think I know exactly what you mean. Oh, the cat butt? Oh, is that it? Oh, okay. That makes sense. I thought the cat equals success. Oh, okay. I got you. I thought you were referencing people who have been streaming for years and still have like 5 people watching them. One is their mother, and the second person is them on their phone. You know, I thought you were referencing that, but you were talking about something else. So that's cool too. Yeah, the cat, but yeah. One of these days my dog is probably gonna take a dump. Like on this camera right here. One of these days my dog is gonna poop on stream. You just have to be here for it. It's gonna happen eventually. I 100% guarantee you. It will happen eventually. T-Bird. Okay, so I had this thing happening. What's up, T-Bird? How you doing? I had this thing happening with my phone that it was pocket. Well, first of all, since I got this stupid piece of crap Samsung phone, stupid, horrible crap Samsung piece of garbage phone. Hate Samsung. Hate. All right, I got this stupid phone. It was like a couple $100. I didn't get the super expensive one. I'm never gonna buy a super expensive phone. I'm not gonna spend my money on that. But I did get a somewhat expensive phone because I had cheap LG phones and they sucked. Anyway, got this phone. And this thing for a year and a half, 2 years that I've had this thing, takes pictures of my pocket. I'll have it in my pocket and like it's taking pictures of my pocket. Like my entire photo gallery is filled with pictures of my pocket because it's taking pictures of my pocket. And I'm like, this is ridiculous, dude. And so I'm going into my gallery, like just deleting photo after photo after photo of my pocket. Okay. Sometimes it does videos. It was doing videos of my pocket. I would have videos of my pocket. So I'm deleting all this stuff, right? And then, as if that weren't enough, Samsung is like, oh, you think that's fun? You think that's fun? We're gonna start having your phone dial 911 from your pocket and see if you like that. So one day I was walking into my other room and all of a sudden my phone was dialing a number and I pull it out of my pocket and sure enough, there's 911. And I'm like, great. It just dialed 911 from my pocket. Sweet. So that was a thing. Uh-oh. Whee. Then that sucked. And I was like, yeah, I explained to the person, right? And then a couple days later, I was filming videos. And all of a sudden, my phone is in my pocket. All of a sudden, I hear my phone dialing, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, not again. The camera was rolling. Literally rolling. I pulled the phone out, and I don't remember what I said, but I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. My phone dialed you from my pocket. I'm really sorry. I forget exactly what I said. And then it was over, But I literally was filming videos, and the camera was rolling, and then I ranted to my video editor who edits my videos about my stupid camera, my stupid phone dialing 911 from my pocket, And then he does blooper rolls. And he took that and put it into one of our blooper rolls. One of the things our patrons get is they get blooper rolls every month. And one of this last March was me complaining. I don't know if he showed me. I don't know if he put the actual conversation with 911 in the blooper. I don't remember. He might have. I don't remember. But he definitely included a part of me complaining about the 911 from my pocket and the stupid Samsung crappy phone. I hate Samsung now. I hate Apple. I won't buy Apple products, and I don't like Samsung now. And so I don't know when I have been this close several times to slamming this phone into concrete. I crap you not, so that I can I will be forced to go to the store and get a new phone. I've been this close with this phone. I kid you not. It's like if I break it, I have to go buy a new one because I have to have a phone, right? That was my thought process. So I don't know what I'm gonna get for my next phone because. But by the way, T-Bird, you asked if fixed it, if it fixed the pocket dialing. I did your fix that you recommended. Thank you so much, dude. You have no idea how much I appreciate that. You hardcore. So far, it has not dialed. Since yesterday, when I read your comment and I implemented the fix, since yesterday, I have intentionally been carrying it in the way that I was carrying it before, when it was taking photos and when it was pocket dialing. And it has not done that yet. And I'm gonna see if it's taken any photos. I'm gonna go in here really quick and see if there are any pocket photos. There are no pocket photos. I don't see any pocket photos. Oh, I have one cool photo. Check out this photo. Hold on a second. Let me get rid of that. Look at this. Can you see that? You can't see that. I'm gonna show you a better photo of this. This is cool. I went to the range the other day and had some fun. I try to go to the range once a week and have fun shooting crap. I want to show you the picture from my range. Here we go. Let's go over here. Now you got a tangent. I was shooting my CZ Shadow 2, which you can kind of see. It's whoops. Woo. There you go. That's this guy right there. This is a very nice. And this is my target. I missed 3 times. Well, I got his earlobe. I missed 3 times. To be fair though, I was doing a speed drill. My previous, oops, can you zoom out? This one right here, this was my for most of these, I was aiming a lot more carefully at range. I was these were at 25 yards, 18 yards and stuff. But I was trying to aim very carefully. And I wasn't that good. I missed a lot of these, Some of my groupings are down low too. But anyway, I got his head a lot. I was aiming a long distance, and so, it happens. This one though, I was doing rapid fires. I was doing, 3 at a time. I was doing a failure to stop drill, which basically you put two into the chest and then you put 1 into the head. And I was doing them as quickly as I could, So I missed a few. It happens, that's life. But anyway, there's your tangent. That's one of my hobbies. It's one of the things I like doing. It's fun. It's expensive though. Bullets aren't cheap anymore. Yeah, my pistols are all. So I have a CZ Shadow 2. And then I have a CZ Omega P. What the heck is that thing? Hold on, I'm gonna go look at it. It's a CZ75. CZ75 P01 Omega. CZ is like one of the really good solid brands, super solid brand, super reliable. I have literally, you guys, on my everyday carry pistol, my CZ75, I've put a couple thousand rounds through it. I've put tons of rounds through that thing. One failure. What did it do? What was the failure on it? I think after it ejected the casing, I think the round might have gotten stuck, half loaded into the chamber or something, and I just racked it out or something. I forget what the failure was. It wasn't a serious failure. It was a quick fix failure, but probably 2,000 rounds through this thing and 1 failure. That's crazy. Now my Shadow 2, I don't shoot the Shadow 2 quite as often. I don't know that I've had a single failure with it. I've definitely put in over 1,000 rounds on my Shadow 2. I don't think I've had 1 failure on that thing. Now I keep them very cleaned. They're cleaned and they're oiled and they're lubed. They're very well taken care of. Yeah, no. So they're super high quality. Yes, I am a huge Puppet Master. I am a huge fan of hammer fired pistols. I do not buy striker fired pistols. I don't buy them. I love the hammer. There's 2 reasons I love the hammer. One, when I holster, when I holster or when I put it into my concealed carry bag, I can literally put my thumb on that hammer as I slide it into my holster or I slide it into my concealed carry bag, which prevents an accidental misfire. Like a couple different ways that accidental misfires happen is when you're drawing or when you're holstering, right? And so when I can put my thumb on that hammer when I holster or when I put it into my bag, I can guarantee, and I have it decocked. I always carry it decocked because I get single action, double action guns, so that even if it's decocked, it still shoots, right? And so I always decock it before I holster. And so then I'm guaranteed that it's not going to go off. I'm not going to have accidental misfire. But also the second thing is because I buy single action, double actions, I can carry it decocked. I can have a round in the chamber, but it's decocked. It's super safe. Like nothing can possibly happen. Now, yes, I understand too, the even striker fire with all the safety mechanisms, nothing's going to happen. But there's an additional level of comfort that I have of knowing that I can have a round in the chamber, have the pistol decocked, and it's impossible for anything to happen to that thing. It's decocked. What can possibly happen? So I also like the fact that it can be decocked, you know? And since it's single action, double action, if it's decocked, and I can just literally pull it out, and my everyday carry doesn't even have a safety on it. I just literally decock it, and that's my safety, you know. But it's single action, double action, so boom, it's ready to go. And then also, if I want it to be a little bit faster, like, you know, I can also just cock it manually with my thumb as well. So there are just from where I'm sitting and all of the rationale I just gave you, there's so many advantages to just hammer fired. I love the hammer fired, and it's cool too because you got the hammer there. It's like, oh man, you know what I mean? So anyway, I probably just got the whole stream demonetized. Sorry, YouTube. I don't use reloads. Northeast Geek, I don't use reloads. I only buy machine, like, you know, factory made bullets. I don't do reloads at all. No, and in fact, the range that I go to, you have to leave your casings. You're not allowed to police your own casings and take your casings with you either. You have to leave them there. I don't think they're gonna say anything if I were to try to take them, but I don't do reloads. I don't have time for that. I'd rather just pay for reliable bullets that I know are gonna go bang than, you know, doing reloads. Because reloads also have a higher failure rate. That's my understanding. And there might be other issues with them. I don't know. I'm not an expert on these things. I know just enough to probably talk a tiny bit and sound like I do, but I don't really know everything about this stuff. What's easier to aim, bows or guns? Dude, I used to shoot a lot of bow and arrow when I was in middle school and high school. And I was decent at it. I wasn't like super great, but I was decent at it. And I did not have scopes on my bows though, because, you know, a lot of hunters, they get scopes on their bows and scopes on their crossbows and stuff, and that helps you a lot. But when I was shooting, the bow that I had was super basic, and there was no aiming mechanism for it at all. You literally just draw, and then you'd put it up to here, you know, and then you'd let go. And I don't think it was that bad. But aiming a pistol is super easy. You know, even like my everyday carry has iron sights, and then my Shadow 2 has a red dot on it. But it's super, obviously a red dot is like brain dead aiming. You have to raise it level so you can find the dot, obviously. But an iron sights take a little bit more effort. But even with iron sights, it's easy. It's not that hard to aim. The most challenging thing about hitting the target is not moving the gun when you pull the trigger. Like, my wife goes and shoots with me. Like, she went and shot with me like 2 days ago when we shot, and she shoots, and like half of the bullets don't even hit the target. And then she looks at me and she's like, I don't understand. Like, I'm lining it up. She was using a red dot too. She's like, I don't understand. I aim it and it doesn't, like, there's no hole. And I told her, it's like, the aiming is like a portion of it. Like, you have to, when you pull the trigger, you can't move the gun. You can't anticipate the recoil, you know? And I think that's what she does, because a lot of times, like, her magazine will be out and it'll lock back, you know? and I'm watching her, so I can see it lock back, but she doesn't know that she's out of rounds, and so she's gonna pull the trigger on the next one, and I can see her dip. I can see her dipping, you know, because she's anticipating the recoil, and so that's one of the reasons that she misses. She does that. But anyway, it's funny. She'll look at me and she'll be like, I don't get it. Like, there's no holes. It's funny. Okay, let's keep going here. Oh man, I'm hungry.
Hi there, you probably already know what I'm going to say, but if you don't, that's okay. I literally get paid to do this stuff, so I don't mind repeating myself. Anyway, if you're a busy person and you would like to spend less time prepping for your D&D games, you should really become a DM Lair patron and get a new issue of Lair magazine every month. It contains 5th edition and resources designed by our team of mad scientists to brainwash your players into thinking you're the very best dungeon master in the entire world. So just go on ahead and click that big shiny link below and become a DM Lair patron today. Don't worry, your players will never even know that you're cheating.
So folks in the chat were suggesting that she practice dry firing at home. Yeah, that's a good point. She hasn't really done almost any dry firing at all. We do have one of our pistols is a 22 though. It is a 1911, which is an amazing design. I love the feel of a 1911 pistol. They're not fun to clean, but they're nice feel and stuff. But it's a 22, and there's almost no recoil. It's like it's a big frame to begin with. It's a full-sized pistol, 1911, right? And it's not made of plastic. It's some of it's metal, some of it feels like aluminum or something. It's not a heavy metal. Like my other guns are heavy metal. This is a lightweight metal, but it's still metal. It's not plastic. And so it's got some weight to it, but it's 22 too, so there's not a whole bunch of kick. There's like no recoil. And so when we shoot the 22, that's almost like dry firing because it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't move at all, man. Nothing. You can mag drop and like it doesn't move, and all the bullets are mostly grouped right there, you know. And so that kind of simulates dry firing. But she could do. The thing is that my wife, I find it enjoyable as a hobby, right? My wife doesn't. She does it because it is a useful skill to know how to do it if you need to, right? And that's why she does it. And so I'm the type of person who will literally, you know, I'll pull out, you know, the mag and I'll strip the mag and then I'll load it up with like those like snap caps, the, you know, where you can dry fire, because it's hammer fired, so you don't want to dry fire without something in the chamber, right? But there are little snap caps you can put in there. I think that's what they're called. And they're fake bullets. They don't actually shoot. And then I'll sit there and I'll practice drawing from the holster. I'll lie on the ground. I'll practice drawing from the holster on the ground. I'll sit there and I'll sit in a chair and practice drawing and stuff. Like I'll do that crap from time to time, you know. But my wife doesn't do that. I have to drag her to the range and be like, all right, today we're gonna go shooting because you haven't shot in a while and you need to remember how to use this gun. And so yeah, she would get better if she dry fired. I 100% agree with you. Just not. 1911s are great. There's a reason there haven't been a ton of changes to the design in over 100 years. Yeah, 1911s are beautiful. I love it. I love it. Do you guys do videos involving specific subclasses and the 3 to 5 best multi-class combos and 1 to 2 worst combos? No, gosh, no. Shoot me in the head before I have to do videos like that. Running a war run. I can't do videos like that. I can't do that. Let me explain why. There are a couple reasons I can't do the ranking videos about the best subclasses and the best combos and the best spells and the best cantrips. I can't do those videos, you guys. Please shoot me in the head before I do videos like that. I can't do it. I can't do it. One. I'm trying to help game masters, And one problem that game masters have to deal with is players who come in with these crazy min-maxed broken characters, and then they have to try to deal with that. And I get questions from game masters who don't know how to deal with that, and that's fair, you know. And if I'm trying to help game masters run games, but at the same time I'm making videos that teach players how to break the game and make their game masters' lives difficult, there's a conflict of interest there, right? And so I can't do those videos. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. Second of all, those videos cater to players. I love players, don't get me wrong, but my goal is not to help players. My goal is to help game masters. I want to help game masters. So the videos I make are mostly for game masters. The resources we create are for game masters. These live streams, I answer game master questions. Yeah, and we talk about other crap when it comes up, but that just happens. So my heart and the goal of my team is to help game masters. And so making videos that appeal to players does not interest me. Now, would I get more views on my videos? You better believe I would. If I made the sleazy, easy ranking videos, what are the best cantrips? What are the best classes? Like those are like easy no-brainer views. Lots of people are gonna click on those and watch those videos, okay? But that's not my goal. My goal is to help game masters, right? And so I make videos about hex crawls and they get 10,000 views, you know? But guess what? I'm helping game masters. I'm accomplishing my goal and my purpose, you know? So that's another reason I can't make those videos. Two, the third reason that I can't make those videos is I don't play the game that much as a player. I am a game master. I actually don't like being a player. I get bored out of my mind when I'm a player. It is boring to me to be a player. I'm sitting there not playing the game for like 75 to 80% of the time. When I'm a game master, guess what? I'm playing the game the whole time. Even when the players are talking and having a conversation, I am listening and I am thinking and I am processing and I'm planning. I play the game all 4 hours. As a player, I play for like 20 minutes and then I sit there and listen for the other time. So I enjoy being a game master a whole lot more. Now, because I game master all the time, that means that I am not up to speed on the best cantrips and the best multi-class combos and the best subclasses and all these other things. Like, I just don't know what they are, right? Because I don't care about those things. But guess what I do know about? I know about running games. And so I can talk about those things and help a lot of people doing that. So that is the long answer to your question, Steven. The answer is no, I'm not doing videos like that. And I just gave you all of the reasons that I don't do videos like that. But there are channels that do exact videos like that. You just have to listen. They're long videos. I literally, one idea that I have had, literally I have thought about doing this, is making another channel that literally summarizes long videos that could have been made in 5 minutes. Like, there are videos out there, like, it might be in the D&D niche, it might be other places or whatever, but there are literally videos that get made that are 30 to 40 minutes long. It's like a 30, so let's pretend, with your example, subclasses, let's pretend that they're discussing the best subclasses for Ranger, I don't know. And it's a 30-minute video. I bet you could do that in 5 minutes, right? So what if you made a channel that summarized a 30-minute video in 5 minutes? I was like, that's interesting. So I could pay somebody to like glean the information, do some research, and then I could pay somebody else to narrate it, and then pay the video editor to put B-roll over it, and we can have a 5-minute video that gives you the same information. I would just pay other people to do that. I've literally thought about that as like one of the ideas in my head. I was like, I wonder if how that would work. I've thought about that, but I don't know how well that would work. It would probably upset some people too. It would probably upset some people, and it'd probably not be smart, but I don't know. It's one of those like maybe big brain ideas that you have. Oh, we are doing a giveaway, guys. I just kicked my dog. She's under my feet. We're giving away a copy of Into the Fae. It's a level 1 to 5 adventure module. D&D 5th edition. It's our first Kickstarter that we did. There's a link down in the chat where you can sign up for Into the Fae if you'd like to. We're also raising money for One More Child. Let me show you them on screen. So One More Child is a charity organization that does a lot of work. They help with foster kids, they help with adoptions, they help single parent families. One of the things though that they do, that and the reason that I really support them, is they help with trafficking, anti-trafficking, sex trafficking, all that horrible crap. And they're there, they help victims of this, they help people. And so we're raising money for them. We're trying to raise $500. We are at $250 right now. So we're trying to put this in the bag and get all the way to $500 so we can make a donation to them. So if you would like to contribute, you can do so by tipping. 100% of all tips will go to One More Child, not super chats, tips, because YouTube takes like almost half of a super chat. But if you tip me, then I get everything, which means that I can give them $500. Boom, and we're done. All right, so if you want to help support, you can send a tip. And there's a link in the chat where you can do that. Yeah, Gerald Katz says the original content creators of the 30-minute video will be angry. Yeah, I agree. Now that was the real reason that I was like, I probably shouldn't do that, even though I could easily, you know. And I was like, I was thinking in my head too. I was like, if I were to do that, I couldn't let anybody know who was actually doing it. Like that's why I was saying I would have to have a voiceover narrator. I'd pay somebody to do the voiceover, and then I'd have B-roll, you know, and I'd have to make it a separate channel. Because like people would be upset. There would be a massive amount of people who would be like, thank you, the information I need in 5 minutes. And then there would be some people that would be upset, you know, because so I was like, first of all, I don't know if that's the right thing to do. Is it ethical? And then second of all, it's definitely gonna make people angry. So I would have to do it so they didn't know that I was doing it. You know, but of course now I just told everybody that I've thought about it, so I think I'm screwed now. Now you'll know, you know, or I just have to like delete this live stream and then track everybody down who's listened to it, and then bribe you or ship you to a deserted island to live out the rest of your days eating sand and drinking salt water or something. I don't know. We'd have to figure that out. Penguin Butt, I think you should add something to the Trello card to figure out how we do that. We gotta track down like 1,000 or 2,000 people. I'm confident you can take care of that, Sonny. You'll figure it out. I'm gonna get a message from Penguin Butt. Luke, were you serious? Should I start doing this? No, don't do it. It's a joke. Okay, I'll make a card for that. Awesome. There are a bunch of tips coming in. Thank you so much. Where's my screen? I had a doc. I had a doc that was supposed to show me all my stats. I can't see all the people that have been doing the tipping. Where's my screen? Hold on a second. Custom browser docs. Where's my tipping screen? Huh. All right, there were a whole bunch of people that were tipping and I didn't get all their names because my OBS is not functioning properly. Where's my stupid OBS thing? My doc left. My doc just left. Huh. That sucks. Oh, maybe it's a Stream Element doc. Oh, I bet it's a Stream Element doc. Hold on. Activity feed. There we go. I got it back. I found my activity feed again. Okay, I want, because I always thank people when they donate, right? Alan Reith, thank you for tipping $15. I appreciate that. And Killer Kitty, thank you for the $5 tip. Thank you. Aiden, $50. Thank you so much, Aiden. I appreciate that. You also got your name up on the screen now as well. Thank you, dude. Appreciate that. And Rachel Fields, thank you, Rachel, for $10. I appreciate that. So that is getting us closer to our goal. We are getting closer to be able to do this donation. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Your screen is to the left. All right. $5 super chat from Lord God. Have you covered making enemy stat blocks from scratch? Specifically big bad stat blocks, but any enemy would be helpful. I don't think we've covered that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know how to do that, but that is not something I do very often because it's a lot of work. So usually what I do, my shortcut to this, Lord God, is to find a stat block that is close to what I want, and then I tweak it, I adjust it. I'll make little changes to it. By the way, there is a reason that I buy every monster manual that is published when I'm running a game. There is a reason I have, when I run 5th edition, I have the monster manual, I have Volo's Guide, I have Mordecai's Tome of Foes, I have Kobold Press's stuff, I have Tome of Beasts, I have Tome of Beasts 2, I have Tome of Beasts 3, I have Creature Codex. There is a reason that I gobble up monster books when they get published. I buy every single one of them. For Pathfinder 2nd edition, I have the Bestiary 1, I have the Bestiary 2, I have the Bestiary 3, and I think Roll for Combat does monster books too that I should start looking at as well. There's a reason I gobble up monster books, because creating a monster from scratch is a lot of work. And the chances are you can find something fairly close to what you have in mind by finding an existing stat block and then tweaking it. And that makes your job a lot easier, right? And the other thing too that I personally do is when I am creating an adventure for my players, flipping through a monster manual or a bestiary, that inspires me. I see cool monsters and I get ideas. I get ideas for adventures. Like that is like step one. Literally, when I am creating an adventure, step one of my process is finding cool monsters. Finding a bunch of cool monsters and then, seeing the theme that links them together. Okay, I got these cool monsters and all right, they all seem related somehow and this is the bad guy and these are the cronies and okay, cool. Now, what's the problem? What are they doing in the game world? Why are they causing an issue? What situation am I gonna set up? They're doing this, this is their goal, they're trying to do this, and it's affecting these people over here in these bad ways. Okay, cool. Now I have the seed for a cool adventure. I have the monsters, I have the premise, great. Now I can start fleshing. Now go find a map. Cool, we find a map. All right, then you start designing your encounters, right? And so my creation process starts with finding cool monsters. I usually don't just imagine monsters out of my imagination. I usually go find existing ones because that's where I get a lot of my inspiration. So that's not really related to your question. It's just comment on my process. But I don't know that we've specifically talked about how to make monsters from scratch because it's complicated. And if you're I'm gonna rant about something. Give me a second. I gotta gather my strength. Something that my team and I are beginning to do right now is publish Pathfinder 2nd edition content. We're getting geared up to start putting that in our publications. In the process of doing that, we reached out to one of the lead developers from Paizo, because I wanted to get some consultations from my team to help get us up to speed on like creating content for Pathfinder 2nd edition. I figured, hey, if we can get one of the lead developers of Pathfinder 2nd edition to help us, hey, that might be great, because yay. And so we did that. We reached out to one of them and he's going to be giving some seminars, a couple of my dudes that work for me. And one of the things, I'm pretty sure it was him that told us this, but he was talking about monster creation, and I think Ed from my team told him that Pathfinder 2nd edition, there's a game mastery guide that tells you how to create monsters. It gives you rules for creating monsters from scratch. And Ed on my team looked at those for Pathfinder 2nd Edition and then made a comment to this lead developer and said, hey, you guys did an amazing job with Pathfinder 2nd Edition rules for creating monsters from scratch, because I come from 5th Edition D&D, and the rules in the Game Master Guide for 5th Edition D&D suck for creating monsters. And so Ed from my team was just telling the developer, you guys did a really good job with your book, because it actually tells you how to create monsters and it's a good job. Whereas D&D 5th Edition, their Game Master Guide sucks for creating monsters and it's just pathetic. And then the lead developer from Paizo 2nd Edition Pathfinder said, thank you very much. Our goal was to actually put useful information in that book that would actually help you to do it. And then I'm pretty sure it was him that made a comment about how when wizards design monsters, they don't even use the rules from the Game Master Guide, from the Dungeon Master Guide. They don't even use those rules. And it turned into this little discourse between him and my team or something about, I don't remember all the details, but they were basically talking about how, isn't it telling, isn't it remarkable, isn't it interesting that the game designers for D&D 5th Edition don't even use the rules in the Dungeon Master Guide when designing monsters. Like the methodology or how they actually create monsters is obfuscated somehow. They use some other process or something. You know what I mean? Because the rules in the Dungeon Master Guide don't work super well. And by the way, too, this is interesting, Ed on my team has backward engineered. He's gone to some of these monsters from like the monster manual and stuff and compared them to the rules in the Dungeon Master Guide, and they don't follow the rules. They don't follow the rules. They don't. And so it's just confounding. It's confounding. And so my comment is, here I have somebody asking me how to make enemy stat blocks from scratch. And I could just tell you there are rules in the Dungeon Master Guide for that, but I wouldn't be helping you because those rules aren't even used by the game designers of D&D 5th Edition. That's my understanding. That's what I've been told. Now, I'm assuming that probably, the guy that we were talking to for Pathfinder 2nd Edition probably talked to other people in the industry and has talked to other game designers, and he probably knows that they don't use their own rules, And so it was just kind of, so I can't tell you to use the rules in the book because the game designers apparently don't use the rules in the book for D&D 5th Edition, So I don't know where you go from there. So that's why I kind of I default to telling you pick a stat block that's close and then tweak it because the rules are obfuscated and just messed up and who knows, you know what I mean? So anyway, that's all I got. Oh, wow, we are so close to hitting our goal. Sweet. Alethorn Caledon, thank you for the $5 tip to One More Child. That is amazing. We are so close to hitting our goal. Oh my word. So this is the organization we're trying to support here. They do a lot of work against slave trafficking. Really, really cool. We're trying to raise $500. We're almost there. Alethorn, thank you for the $5. Tarmina, thank you for the $25 tip. And then Senjum Barom, thank you, $100. Holy crap. Awesome. Thank you so much. We are at, what are we at now? We are at $460. We have $40 to go. $40. That's awesome. We're almost there. I wonder if we can get this done by the end of the stream today. That would be amazing. We got $40 to go. Can we do it? Can we do it? That would be cool. That'd be awesome. All right, we have one more super chat, and then I'm gonna draw the winner to our giveaway. So if you have not signed up for our giveaway yet, you should go do so. It is free. There's literally a link down in the chat where you click it and do some stuff, and then it's free, and then I draw, you can win. That's how giveaways work. So, one more super chat though, and then we'll draw the giveaway winner. I can't say her name. Crater Circle, I think. $10 super chat. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Doing an adventure. I'm so hungry. Oh my gosh, my stomach is eating my backbone. Doing an adventure that revolves around an artificer that is enchanting people's organs like they're magic items. Oh, that sounds cool. Any suggestions for magic item enchantments that could work on specific organs? Yeah, okay, so let's just brainstorm a couple things. Your stomach. When you eat something, your stomach transmortifies it into something else, and then you poop it out. You asked, I'm answering. Your lungs. Okay, cool. When you make a magic item out of the lungs that when you breathe in specific types of gases, it transforms them into something else. Okay, so you could breathe in poisonous gas and it purifies that air, and then you breathe it out and you're fine. So you're immune to being poisoned, but it also purifies the air. So you could walk into a poison cloud, breathe a bunch of it in, and it purifies it. It could also allow you to walk into that poison cloud, breathe it in and store some of it, and then breathe it out later. You could exhale it later. So there's an idea for a magic item for the lungs, I don't know what else we could do for the lungs. The brain. Turn your brain into a magic item. Your memory has now become absolutely perfect. So you remember everything. So this could actually be very useful for players who don't take good notes and forget things. Because then when they forgot the name of an NPC, the player with that magic brain could turn to the game master and be like, but remember my magic brain, I remember everything, you have to tell me. And then the game master tells them the name of the NPC. I don't know, there's a couple ideas for you. And then you just kind of go, that'll get you started. Yeah, water, eyes of water. Yeah, water breathing, eyes of true sight. Those are some good ideas too. Absolutely. Yeah, very nice. And it looks like we hit our goal. Woo! Killer Kitty, thank you for the $40 super tip. We are now at $500. And Elthorn tipped $10. Thank you so much. We are now at $510. We have reached our goal for one more child. I'm really hungry. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate that. We're going to make that donation, get them $500, and that's going to be beautiful. And of course, we'll go on to another charity. We'll go on to another charity starting next live stream. That'll be beautiful. All right, cool. That's literally what we do on our live streams. I'm just always have a charity that we're raising money for, and that's cool. All right, we're going to draw the winner to our giveaway now. And then I'm going to get some food because I'm starving. I've not eaten yet today. So that makes me hungry. Imagine that. All right, here we go. Draw winners. Draw winners. Draw winners. Ooh, baby. Draw that winner. Draw that winner. Oh, wow. This name sounds very familiar. I think this person has won before. It happens. T to the money. T to the money. First name Tyler. You have won, my friend. T to the money, you have won. I don't know if you're here or not. You don't have to be here to win, but you have won. Congratulations. I will be sending you an email at some point here. We'll get you hooked up with some cool crap. Yay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I do believe we are done. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. We're going to be here next week. Now, next week, I have a special guest on. We have Steven. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. I think it's Glicker. It's either Glicker or Gliker. I'm bad with names. But Steven from Roll for Combat is going to be on next week on the live stream. Same time, same place. And we're going to talk about RPG crap. And we have a cool contest that they have coming up too that we're going to talk about as well. So anyway, next week will be a little cool special thing for you guys. But until then, I'm leaving and getting some food. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This has been fun. All right, here we go. I'm ending the stream.